and welcome to Season 3, Episode 11 of LesOdes. I am Dan, and I am joined, as always, by the incredible Fliss, Ben, and James. Say hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Let's get the fire on with it. So, I can proudly report that I am now the owner, James, of my very first Maitre et Gantier perfume and gloves.
Perfume and gloves, mate.
Maitre Parfumier et Gantier. Yeah, I'm proud owner of my very first one, and it's called De Habit. Well, I think it's probably pronounced De Habit or something.
De Habit sounds a little bit like you're really hamming up Derby, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, De Habit. Yeah, it's De Habit. Yeah, it could be Girl in De Habit Rouge, but it's not. It's this is just called Dabby.
Dabby. The more we say it, the less it sounds like a real thing. Dabby.
It's spelled. I will just spell it.
Dabby. Oh.
Sorry, Dan, you got this really nice perfume you're really pleased with. Go
Please tell us about the perfume. So sorry. It's because we didn't start right, and then you didn't let us get all wiggly and giggly, and now we're doing it late in the game.
Yeah, I mean, just to sidetrack it even more, I had a kind of gag.
Grumpy dad.
I'll just be like, rewind to like last week, or whenever, like, Ben was like talking German on one of them. Do you remember that one? He was doing kind of like German things. And I remember thinking, do you know that brand? Because there's some daft like viral video of some guy going into a shop in Germany, and he buys some gloves, and he's like, look what gloves are called. And they're called like hand shoe fingers, or they're called like finger shoelaufer or something.
Hand shoe?
Like hand shoes. These ones were actually called hand shoe fingers, or something like that.
Fingerless, I would imagine.
There's two different ways of saying it, but that first one is hand shoes. And I thought, I wonder what like that Gantier brand would be in German. Just I don't know. So
anyway. God, what was the word for headache, Ben?
Kopfschmerzen. Except from you have to say Kopfschmerzen.
I've copped a schmerzen.
Brilliant.
So anyway.
I think Dan is trying to say that he might have a headache because we're being so annoying.
I've got a fucking Kopfschmerzen, man. You fucking doing my head in.
So what's this Dabit like then?
Yay! Dabit.
What, does it not have a spray? You have to dab it.
No, dab it. Now you've made me want to go and search up the video for diabetes versus diabetes. Have you seen that video?
Yeah.
That's the stupidest video ever. It's got like about 3 million hits, and it's just two guys, like all the outtakes of two guys who pronounce diabetes differently, cut together, like diabetes. Anyway, right, so oh God, I've ruined the episode. It's all right, no one's listening. So the perfume smells, and I was telling Ben about this before, and he said, that doesn't sound so great. Basically, think Amouage Jubilation in a way, but made like greasy and filthy. So it's like got quite a sweaty sort of vibe to it. And yeah, greasy was the word that I used. I think I read greasy somewhere, and I thought, that's a really good word to describe this. This sort of has a sort of filthy rocker sort of vibe to it. I really like it. I'm not sure it's something I would wear a lot of, but just as a expression of like smelling fucking badass, it's pretty
smell
fucking
badass.
Cool. I think it smells badass. Yeah, like not like a bad ass.
No, badass.
No. Yeah, I mean, I've smelled lots of perfumes that actually smell like ass.
We've discussed a lot of them on here as well.
several ass perfumes, but no, this is just really. I really enjoy it. I got it for I think 75 quid or something, which is a pretty reasonable price. And yeah, I mean, it's full, and it's it didn't come with a box, but anyway, it's nice. It's nice. So that was my most exciting perfume event of the last few weeks, I guess. You know, I could bore you all with mine, but I'm always more interested in what you lot have been wearing. Fliss, tell me about what you lot, well, not you lot, you personally,
What
rather
my
than your whole family.
Personally.
Oh, hang on. James is going to come in there.
Sorry to interrupt. No, I'm just looking at Parfum de Beat on here.
De Beat.
And you said it kind of reminded you of Jubilation?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Did you mean Beloved or Beloved?
No, because I don't know.
Oh, okay. Beloved. No, I'm just checking because on Fragrantica, I know means very little because it's actually got 5 down votes and only 4 up votes, but it's the most compared to is Beloved.
Oh, really? Okay. No.
Yeah, I think it's Beloved Man. Yeah.
Right. I don't know that one, but no, this is it's got that sort of spicy, woody, maybe blackcurrant. Is there a blackcurrant or blackberry sort of?
Blackcurrant is what amongst the notes. So,
yeah. So that's maybe what's giving me Jubilation vibes, and it's yeah. I mean, it doesn't smell. So Jubilation is relatively speaking quite clean and upbeat. This is not clean. This has definitely got a load of filth in it, and I don't know. I think it's an interesting perfume. It's certainly way more interesting than a lot of other stuff that I've been sent recently. Like for some reason, like every brand in the world is trying to send me clones of Herba Pura for some reason.
Oh God, have they not listened to the show?
Why. No, I don't know. I don't know. It's just the world.
I don't understand why that perfume in particular does have it seems to have that sort of clone following. Like everyone has to have a Herba Pura clone in the same way they have to have, a MFK clone.
BR 540.
Baccarat Rouge. Yeah.
Well, people like powerful shite, obviously, don't they?
Power shite. But I think there is a reason. I've been sort of mulling that as well. I don't quite get why, because on face value you sort of go, well, this is not necessarily such a wildly mainstream popular perfume, but I think what it is, it's an attempt to essentially fly below the clone radar, because people I haven't quite formulated the right set of words, but what I'm broadly getting at is people are probably looking for things that are popular but not too popular, that are that have broad appeal but not too broad. They want a niche perfume but not too niche, you know what I mean? And I think Herba Pura possibly fulfills that brief, because I think to most twats in the street and people in the street, they are twats. Like James's thing about that advert he saw was, walk and smell this, mate. On where was it? It was in Liverpool, wasn't it? What do you think of this, mate? Smell this? It's fucking great, that. Oh, I like your massive fucking blow up dick. That's great. Anyway, so to most twats in the street, I reckon Herba Pura probably smells innovative, different, but somehow accessible.
It's quite bombastic, isn't it?
And the performance is nutty. So I think it's probably an attempt to get away from cloning the obvious to cloning something a little less obvious, really. But yeah, anyway, so I have several perfumes this week that just smell a lot like Herba Pura. I mean, none of them are identical to Herba Pura, thank God.
Thank God, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's some sort of fixative or musk or whatever it is that they use in Herba Pura that is very specific to that perfume, that just is like my kryptonite. And others, variations on it, are much easier to wear, but still...
Well, they're nicer than the real thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it'd be difficult to be worse, in my view.
It's true. It's very true.
I don't know. I fuck knows. But yeah, the Maitre Parfumier Gantier, definitely a more interesting perfume. So, Annie,
I'm just looking on Fragrantica as well, and I did review this perfume, and I said it was really, really lovely perfumery.
Really lovely.
I said loads of other shit as well, but I can't be
did you not say anything about it being filthy? I mean, I to me, it is
no.
Definitely
very clean, modern patchouli, blah blah blah.
I don't find it clean at all.
Irisy, it's got loads of. I really liked it, and I actually said at the bottom, I actually want a bottle now. But that was in 2021, so I didn't get one.
Oh, back when you were a pup.
Well, no, I went through that thing. I mean, we were doing the podcast then, weren't we? I went through a thing of getting those Gantier. Maybe, I don't know.
It must have started about then, yeah.
Yeah, it started around then, didn't it? So I do remember me getting a load of Gantiers because I was like, look, it's one of those brands that I've been aware of for years, and I tried quite a few of them, but I didn't realise how many they had. And just to speak on that thing of, it's a bit like this, it's a bit like that, whatever, that was made in 1988 by the Laporte, who was the guy who founded the brand, and also was kind of affiliated with L'Artisan Parfumeur as well. What a great perfumer he was. I mean, he's got this huge back catalogue of perfumes that now we're referencing from much more recent ones going, it's a bit like this, it's a bit like that. He had all those in his line in the fucking late 80s, do you know what I mean? And like 90s and stuff. So, I mean, he's pretty pioneering.
Is this from the 80s then, this one? I mean,
1988.
This can't be a bottle from the 80s, but I could believe
it. It looks like an older one to me. Let's have a look at it.
I think the old ones have a red cap,
the older
don't
ones.
they?
It's hard to tell. I don't know.
It's very. I mean, it's. I don't think it's from the 80s. It's got a plastic sticker on the bottom that says Parfum d'Habit, but the bottle is very subtle and elegant. It's got really nice glass lines on it. I really enjoyed taking photos of it, and I guarantee nobody will fucking like my photos because unless it's a bottle of fucking Sauvage, not that I'm bitter.
In a 500ml refill bottle.
I mean, I think 500ml of most things is arguably more perfume than you'd need.
Yeah, when the fuck does that need refilling? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Don't worry, it's refillable. Oh, great. Yeah. So what, in like the afterlife, I can come get my refill. Okay, anyway, right.
After a particularly big night.
Yes, I drank all of it. Where's it gone? Unfortunately, I'm blind now. Right, Fliss, I want you to tell me and everybody listening about your perfumes. Tell us all about our perfume.
I started because it's been so bloody cold still, even though it's like February or whatever. It just feels like it's still
annoyingly so,
really annoying. And I wore some Amber Teutonic by DS and Durga, and it's a really lovely thick piney amber, and it still felt a little bit Christmassy to me. There's like a slightly gingerbread sweetness about it, and it smells like those gingerbread sweets or little biscuits with the crispy tops that you get. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about. Lebkuchen, that's what they're called.
Lebkuchen.
Yeah. It smells a bit like that, but then also with a lovely thick piney amber base. And
Ich heiße eine Kopfschmerzen.
Yeah. And it feels a bit like a thicker, grumpier eau de Bao, if you know what I mean. It just feels like a slightly grumpy eau de Bao, and I really liked it. It was just perfect.
That would
actually
suit me.
Yeah. But yeah, and I had a 5ml sample, and I just raced through it for several days at a time, and I really enjoyed it. I wore Dear Woman for the first time. I'd not worn that before, and I don't think I really liked it, to be honest. It's very, very aldehydic, and it made me think of that aldehydes episode because I was like, once you get through it, and then there's these nice light florals, I quite like that bit. But it took about 3 hours, and the aldehydes felt really strong and really soapy. And Ben would have been crying in a corner. He'd have been so sad. And it just, I felt sad in a way.
Scent of sorrow.
Yeah, I felt sad. I didn't like it, but I just don't get on with those big aldehydes at all. Then I had a buy ban fail. Because a bottle,
well done.
I know, I've been doing
this is to be applauded.
I know, you can just all enable me now. A bottle of 24 Falbor came up.
Oh, nice.
And it was pretty much full,
Nice.
100ml for 50 quid.
What?
I know, and I was just like,
Bargaloonies?
I couldn't let it not happen. So I spent a good couple of days. Mega bargs. I spent a good couple of days wearing that, and it's just lovely and warm and peachy and fuzzy, and it feels quite fluffy. You know that how mimosa flowers are quite fluffy, and it has that texture to it. And when you wear it, it's not clean, if you know what I mean. There is a I keep saying the word fuzzy, but that's not really. I'm not really saying anything other than that. But it's
Stop saying
fuzzy. But it feels like that kind of mohairy, softness to all the edges of it, and the peach. I was really surprised how much the peach was coming through for me, because I don't remember it being like that. And it's in the same vein as something like Cartier Panther, but like the old one with the panthers on the bottle, not the new bollocks that they're pumping out now. And I've just been wearing that a lot. It just drips with class, and it feels as if the sunshine in the spring might not be too far away. It makes me feel really classy when I wear it, and which
is quite something for you.
It really is. It's so cold. I've got so many layers of jumpers and joggers on. Yeah, I feel very, very classy.
Classy Fliss.
Classy Fliss.
Didn't I pick that for the Hermes house cup?
Yeah,
Hermes.
you did.
Yeah, that was my Hermes. Yeah. Hermes house
Isn't that
cup,
a defunct courier who are now?
I hear tell
Every or some shit.
it's been discontinued.
Oh.
It has. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's.
Why would you do that?
It's named after their boutique, isn't it? Like, that's like, surely you discontinue other shite. I mean, I heard that there was a whole list of things that they've discontinued, that Paprika Brazil maybe, and some of those Hermescence line apparently are being axed.
But I mean, some of them deserve to be.
Yeah, I won't miss them.
When you say axed, are you saying that like as in hip hop sort of like version?
Axing them if they want to go or not. Are they being axed?
I'm axing. Yeah.
Nah.
It didn't work. Huh?
So I was praying for it to work for you.
Yeah, I know. We were all rooting for you. It didn't work. Okay.
Yeah.
All
So anyway,
moving on.
I know what you mean.
You're saying about there's a load of stuff that they are axing. And we weren't sure if...
What are they axing them?
Not consulting with, axing. No, I was just saying that, and also I was just going to say to Fliss that it's interesting that you didn't like the aldehydes. I kind of, understand that. Don't you get a little sparkle of aldehydes from the Faubourg?
Oh,
but is it a reasonable?
It's a reasonable amount. There is a little bit there, and it's enough to give it that lift. And I would say that there's definitely that juicy peach feel, but the lift of the aldehydes, and there's a bit of a yang in there. There's some yellow florals in there, but again, the aldehydes lift it so that it never feels cloying. It never feels.
So it's below Fliss's threshold.
Yeah, I think
this is too aldehydic and it's pissing me off.
My threshold is about Chanel No. 5 is my top end.
Yeah.
If it gets any more than Chanel No. 5, then it's not my bag. Yeah. It's odd because for someone who likes so many like really old perfumes, that it's something like Dear Woman, which is relatively modern, that to me smells more retro than half the retro stuff I've got, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
Don't know.
Yeah.
But there we go. And then my second buy ban fail, which we'll talk about in the second half, is I bought a bottle of Cabochard Grey. And it's 17 quid for 100 ml. And it's fucking stunning. It's Bernard Chant. And it's utterly blown me away. It's like a more wearable Azuré by Estee Lauder, which he also did. And it's just phenomenal floral leather, and the leather in it is proper as well. And I'm really pleased that I have it. I can't believe it's taken me this long to know it, but there were so many people when we were doing those 200 lists that were like, oh, Cabochard, and I was like, what is this? And everyone was like, what, you don't have it? And I was like, right, well, I've already failed my buy ban, so I might as well just in for a penny, in for a pound, buy a bottle of that as well for 17 quid.
Well, that's it. I was sort of toying with the idea of getting a vintage one because I do love that perfume. It's a brilliant perfume. Good. And then just over time, I've been like, shall I just get a new one? Because I've tried the new one as well, and it is really good. But I thought, I think I've seen vintage ones for quite a reasonable price. I might be going back years ago, but that is a great perfume, and I think it's well worth having. And if it's 17 quid,
I mean, you just couldn't get. There, why not? Why the fuck not? If floral leather is your thing, it does have a slightly vintage feel. It is full on chypre.
Which Cabochard is this?
Grey or grey?
Grey. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Great. Yeah, I'm just looking.
It's like a beautiful, almost sort of like square, slightly Hermès shape, Jourdan Hermès shape bottle, but with a black bow on the top.
Right. Okay. The 100 ml.
Yeah, and it's just fucking class. It's really surprised me. That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And that's about it. Really.
Cop one for fun. I left one out, by the way, which I just remembered, but I copped a Perfumer H Gold off Thomas the Sentiest. Thomas East. And it's very nice. And that is basically how I feel about Lynn Harris.
I was going to say, but we have this thing with you, don't we, that you like the construction of stuff, but none of them moves you. If I understand that rightly.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's like I like music analogies. I'm trying to figure out what a good musical analogy is because it's clearly well done, but it's so kind of. All right, this is going to sound terrible. Right, here's my thesis: Lynn Harris is the Enya of perfumery.
Oh, wow! There's a lot to unpack there, isn't there?
There is, right?
Always turning up in charity.
Yeah, where to begin?
Yeah. Anyway, I said it, and I'm going to own it.
I remember, like when the kind of the first internet was around.
The first internet.
There was like, well, you know what I mean. There was like E-Baum's World. Do you remember E-Baum's World?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And
Something Awful and E-Baum's.
Yeah, and there was like mashups of songs, and one of my favourites was "Smack My Bitch Up the Orinoco Flow."
Oh my god, I need to look it up.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I think Ben should put it on the actual on the end of this episode because it's fucking amazing.
It's that good.
Smack My Bitch Up with Orinoco Flow, and it's amazing. It works so well.
Wow.
Okay, well, I very much like this Perfumer H Gold. It's very nice, and as most of her stuff is, it's nice. And what it doesn't do is get me fucking hot and steamy.
I've had a number of her perfumes pass through my collection, and every time I buy one I think I really like this, and then I wear it for a little while, and then it just gets lost in my collection, and I never then feel sort of like compelled to keep wearing it. There was, and some of them are really lovely. That Trudon one the Dieu, which is very much like Wonder from Miller Harris. It's just really green and grassy and lovely, but I just... I wore it a couple of times and went, yeah, that's nice, and then never reached for it again. And there's some florals that are like that as well, and I think, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice. It's nice. It's nice.
But it's kind of better than nice.
Well, it's very well put together nice. But it doesn't emotionally resonate in any particular way with me. So anyway, I mean, I'll probably sit on it for a little while. I feel like she's such a fucking celebrated perfumer, and she's achieved so much that I feel like I should really make an effort to sort of inhabit one of her perfumes for a while and see whether I can actually love one of them. I mean, I think if it was anyone else, I'd probably just smelt it and go, yeah, pleasant, all right, next.
Can I suggest Fouille de Tabac, is it called?
Isn't that just discontinued as well?
Oh, shit, yeah, probably.
Stop. I can't fucking buy more discontinued shit.
Dan, nothing's out of Dan's.
No. I mean, it'll be on eBay. It'll be on eBay. There's a whole bunch of that stuff, the early Miller Harris stuff.
Yeah, it will be. It's not that desirable.
I don't. Yeah, I for some reason I don't like the Miller Harris brand. I don't. The branding.
I get it.
It feels
it's like
sort
pressed flowers in a book.
Yeah. It's a bit twee, fucking
Mm-hmm.
slightly middle-aged womany vibe.
Whereas the Perfumer
Well,
H branding, I think, is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's very minimal, right? And I do dig minimal, right?
Have you been in the boutique?
No, I haven't. No,
it looks fucking great. It looks like a kind of weird brown 70s office or something. But
really?
In a cool, it's almost like it's a little bit sort of Scandi kind of like design.
Is she in there?
70s sepia. Yes, I think so. I don't think always, but I think she does actually work in there and compound stuff in the back, maybe. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I know that friend of the show, Clayton, he interviewed her for something, or he went to speak to her, and she was at that. He took pictures in there, and he was with her in there. So I don't know if she was just there because he was there that day. I don't know, but I'm assuming she does, pop in time to time, considering it's her business. But the guy who makes the hand-blown glass bottles and everything for them, they've got a good, synergy there with a cool... I mean, they are super cool, those bottles. You just kind of want one just for that. Yes, they're expensive, but you're buying into the whole concept. Well, I think just in defence of the tweeness of the original Miller and Harris brand, one, they were a kind of niche brand that sort of sat alongside maybe your Joe Malone's and that kind of shit. And to me, they stood out because they were more... they didn't seem to be kind of jumping on sort of bandwagons. Yes, they've got a rose one. Yes, they've got a vetiver. Blah, blah, blah. But all brands do that. But I think once you get past that, some of them are really, really good. Fouille de Tabac being
Lederienne.
There's a rose one. Is that the rose one?
No, Lederienne is the Jane Birkin one.
I don't. What does it smell like?
It smells like the inside of a Birkin handbag, and that
like
kind of
right, okay.
Is it a leathery iris?
I don't think it's irisy, but it could be.
Who's going around sniffing other people's handbags? That's
probably.
Anywho, I would recommend to you, Dan, Fouille de Tabac. It's kind of almost a bit tea-like. I think it's a very good perfume. It's the only one that I own.
Okay.
And it is kind of smoky and sort of... It's really good in that sense of like tobacco perfumes are often just shit. Tobacco vanilla type, or slightly different. This is very unsweetened stuff. So I really like it anyway.
All right. So. I will give it a chance. And I feel sort of... That's not intended to patronise, Lynn Harris in any way by me saying, I will indulge her with a chance. But I've tried quite a lot of her work, and it all just comes across as very, very good perfumery that doesn't quite, set my hair on fire.
And I think I think it's okay for us to talk about that sometimes, because I feel like sometimes there's a whole load of kind of Instagrammy or, people who just fawn over everything. And just because it's well made, they never just go, it's not for me. They never once go, it's not for me. And I think it's really important that when we're talking, because we've all got different tastes, and to be able to be honest about our tastes and say that I think this is well made, but I just don't like that perfumer's work, I think it's pretty important, I think.
Yeah. No, I'm sort of conflicted, because I do feel like there should be some sort of Lynn Harris that I really do love, just because of how clearly exceptionally talented she is. So, I'll probably find something. Like, as much as I despise Coldplay, I can still enjoy one or two of their tracks. Not really, I wouldn't say love, but I can tolerate them. I say tolerate. I hate them all. I hate Coldplay.
If you were on life support and it was playing in the background, you'd probably like not get up and turn it off.
Yeah, I might do, actually. That might be the thing that brings me back. Play him Coldplay.
Fucking
Turn yourself off, actually. Just fuck it.
Fucking no! No! Right, anyway, okay, so we have done Fliss's selection. We have laid into Lynn Harris. And we have talked about all sorts of random shit, which brings us to Ben. Ben, tell us something fun about perfume.
All right, I've sniffed quite a lot of fun stuff this week. The past couple of weeks, actually. So,
perfume.
Firstly,
We talk about perfume, Ben.
Yes, perfume. Funnily enough, though, you say that, I've sniffed other things that I really enjoyed. I bought a new dartboard, and it smelt fucking gorgeous. I don't know what it was. I think it was like the print on it, maybe, or something. But I just kept sniffing it, and yeah, it's really nice. I think it was the paint. Like they screen print it, and I think it was maybe that, because it had this like oily sort of chemical smell. It was just lovely. I loved it. So yeah, I spent quite a bit of time sniffing my dartboard. Outside of that,
I just can't imagine Ben at the hockey. Can you? You know what I mean? It's just.
I won't. I'll be
like
past the
darts
hockey, just
vibes.
sniffing your dartboard. I don't care about playing. I just want to sniff what's going on. This is normal, though, right? You sniff everything in life. Like,
well, I mean,
it is not. I do like smelling things.
I smell a lot of things as well.
Good. Okay. So yeah,
sort of imagine you like in the supermarket aisle, just picking things up and like putting your nose to them.
Did you ever see that Dior film with Demacy? It was quite recent. It was called Nose, I think. It was a really posh, funded by Dior film about the development of Dior perfumes, and it's basically Demacy walking around like just sniffing stuff.
Is that the one where at one point he basically sniffs a metal handrail and then
he does sniff a metal handrail,
and then he waxes lyrical about how the metal handrail smells different to a piece of metal that doesn't have hands on it all the time and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, because we've been through this already, that it's actually am I going to be able to recite the chemical? It's the same. It's called
Stop, look it up, and now you're going to sound clever as fuck when Ben edits it in for you. Or you're going to sound like a fucking charlatan when he doesn't edit it in for you. It's one or the other.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, this is just totally off the top of my dome, guys, but it's called Oxim 1N3-one or amyl vinyl ketone. And it's and it basically, because of the iron like in your blood, like you can smell metal, and I've talked about this before, about how like when you talk, basically like the metal doesn't have a smell, right? Because essentially what smell is little tiny little particles of stuff going into your receptors and you going, oh, that's a smell. Metal doesn't do that, right? But when you touch it and obviously you get the grease off your hands and stuff like that, you're just smelling your own yourself. That metal smell that you get when you hold like a penny, or when you like touch a bit of chain or something and you smell it and you go, oh, that's actually. And there's the interestingly, what I found interesting about it was how we can detect it at a very, very low level, like super, super low fucking level, right? And why is that? And like scientists, they still don't know, but they think it's like an evolutionary thing about the iron in your blood. And if like when your blood oxidizes and hits like the air and stuff and you smell that like smell, it's like a fight or flight response. Yeah. Was it to do with so that like cavemen would know that they're injured or that know that they've injured an animal or something. So there's a reason why you get that really strong smell of metal from stuff.
I'm never touching anything metal again. No more handrails. No, I mean I was bad before, as a germaphobe, but absolutely never again. Like you want to give me change? Nah, just put it in the tray. Fuck off.
Keep it.
I want to go and find some metal things now and smell. Just to
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realise you were that much of a germaphobe, Ben.
Oh, I like.
Anyway,
yes. So anyway. It's been an interesting couple of weeks. Yes, yeah. I bought Isara off Dan. Thanks, Dan. So, yeah, that was nice. That was a lovely one. I won't go on about it too much because Dan, I think, might be regretting that sale.
I think I bought that from a listener, on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, it's handing it around. I don't know.
So that was nice.
Yeah, it is nice. And that is a perfume that I really enjoyed, but for some reason, again, I didn't like. There was no. I have this thing every so often where I just think, right, I'm gonna just sell everything that doesn't give me like a really intense emotional reaction.
It's quite a background perfume, isn't it?
It is.
I noticed the first day I wore it, I wore it most of the day and I didn't really notice it that much. But when I was out walking the dog, like later in the evening, it kept like kicking up in the air and I was like, oh, that's a Sarah. Like, it's quite interesting like that. It's a good... It doesn't grab your attention.
It's a good, strong perfume. I just, I don't know, just, it smells great as well. Like, really good. But, again, it's very difficult for me to really crystallise what I mean by this, but it just didn't give me a sort of big emotional reaction. Like, so there's a thing, right? I used to collect watches. I don't know why, but I used to collect watches, and then I sold them all when I found the one, right? And I still have just one watch. I wear it all day, every day. I absolutely love it. And every time I look at the time, I just get this tiny little frisson of happiness because I looked at my watch and I go, yep, that's a thing of beauty. And I get that from some perfumes. I did not get it from Isara. Even though it's a great perfume, it just didn't give me that, hey, this is a thing of beauty. Do you know what I'm driving at there?
Totally. Yeah. And I think that I've been the same as you, Dan. I've been having a bit of a clearer and clearing out stuff that I thought to myself I might never sell because I know that it's technically excellent and I like it. But if I'm not wearing it and when I do wear it, if it doesn't make me go, oh, then what's the point? It's just because then it just becomes something that's in my collection because it XYZ does something about, either a decade or a particular note or whatever. But if I'm not wearing it and feeling great when I'm wearing it, then, I'm not the fucking Cosmetique. I don't need to keep every perfume ever. Sell it.
Yeah, I sort of get that, but I also do have days sometimes where I just want to wear something that I don't. Like, I know that I won't feel too special about. I just want to bang something on and think, that's going to smell pleasant enough. And it's going to make me go, yeah, nice. But I'm not really going to grab my attention or anything like that. But, yeah. Anyway, the complete opposite of that, I also bought Myths, Amouage Myths, which has been really hard to get hold of since they discontinued it. And it's skyrocketed in price. So it's easy enough to get hold of if you pay the money, basically, which I was not willing to do. But I managed to get like a half-used bottle and I fucking love this. Like, this is my favourite Amouage. Like, wow, it's brilliant. It's such a shame that they discontinued it. I don't understand why they would have done such a thing. It's brilliant. I sort of explained it to Dan, saying it's a bit like sort of Jubilation and Interlude had a baby, but
Reflection.
Reflection. Sorry, yeah. Reflection and Interlude had a baby. But it's got all the best things about all the best Amouages. It's got this like ashy resinous incense like base to it, and it's got this like quite sort of sweet rum in the middle, but it's not overly boozy, but it's definitely like a sweet sort of thing. And that the sweetness of the rum then melds with the floral aspect. And they create this like nice kind of like sweet middle that's really nice. It's great, man. I think it's really good. And I have no idea why they would have discontinued it. And it's huge like Interlude, and it stinks for days like Interlude. And it's, but it's brilliant. I love it. So I was really happy to get hold of that. So that was nice. And then, but I bought a bunch of samples from Bloom, which is really good, and a couple that I think you guys would really like, actually. So Arquiste L'Or de Louis.
L'Or de Louis.
L'Or de Louis.
L'Or de Louis.
Whatever. But that was a really nice, like, orange blossom, jasmine, and then honey, right? So, Dan, I'm not sure if it would be your thing.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, more so sort of James and Fliss. But the honey is not massive, and it's not sticky or sickly or like sort of feels like you're in this quagmire of like doom. It's quite light. And actually, the florals are the main aspect at first, but later, it sort of comes back. And has like a kind of...
See, I have a love-hate relationship with honey frags. And there was some amazing... Okay. Like Bee, obviously zoologist, and then Slow Dive and all of those, that Hiram Green one and stuff. And with both of those, I think, they are absolutely photorealistic honey, but I wouldn't want to smell of it. And there's a couple of other honey frags that I think... my dad used to keep bees, so I know what like a raw hive of honey smells like, and it's amazingly evocative for me. I love that smell, but I don't want it on me. I just find it really cloying. Yeah. And there's actually quite a scratchy note to real honey as well. That's a bit sticks at the back of your throat a bit, and it's not my thing.
I think what I love in this is that it never becomes cloying, and it's the jasmine and the orange blossom are totally like this the number one star of this perfume. Like they're really huge in the middle, and the honey plays underneath that. But if you think like we've got orange blossom, jasmine, and honey,
that's very sweet, and
that's an animalic stinky beast, and it's super filthy. It's I really liked it. I thought it was really good. At the same time I bought this, I also found out, I didn't buy it, but is it Anima Dulcis or Anima, what do they call it? Anima Dulcis. They've re-released it because that was discontinued for a while, and that's a really good Arquiste perfume, like coffee, cacao, vanilla, sort of semi-gourmand. I mean, the way I've described it there sounds very gourmand, but it's quite woody as well, so... they've just re-released that, which is good. But this L'Or de Louis, I was really impressed with it. I really, really liked it. I will possibly buy it, but it is quite expensive. Outside of that, I also had Maria Gian Broom Matcha. Anyone ever heard of that brand?
No, I haven't.
Gian.
No.
Reasonably priced for a start. It was about 50 quid for a bottle from Bloom. And this one is like a green mint perfume. I like a mint perfume, which is why I went for it, because I quite like, they're not that common, and I do quite like mint in a perfume. And so, where mint is sort of like the main driver.
Mint can be a bit hit or miss. I find I mean, I don't know technically whether it's the case, but it seems like quite difficult for perfumers to get it right, because it's often a fucking sledgehammer rather than, something quite pleasant. It's almost like being twatted in the face with toothpaste rather than fucking...
I was about to say, there's a lot of kind of toothpastey frags out there, isn't there?
So I think
have you got any examples? Sorry, I'm just wondering, because maybe I'll just avoid mint in perfumes, but I can't really think of it. I think I maybe have tried some sort of artisan, like indie type ones that I like I say, I can't even remember them off the top of my head. But
there's a Mugler mint, isn't there? One of the men's Mugler mint that I remember trying and thinking that's a lot.
Crypto mint, Crypto mint. That's one. The Mal one that you like is super toothpastey. Well, I mean, that's an easy example. I would have to go and look things up. There's just a sort of fairly...
I know that your fave, Derby, I think pretty much all of our faves, being Derby, does list a mint note. And
does it?
People say it's... Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
People say it's more pronounced in the Parisiennes version, which, okay, I'll kind of go with that maybe as a slight top note. But again, if it is just a little twinkle at the beginning with some freshness, I can see how it would be appealing. Now, I'm saying this, and I love that Frederic Malle, which is overtly and actually based on it's supposed to smell like mouthwash, right? It's intentionally ridiculously minty. Now, I would say that the facets of mint in geranium are huge, right? If you smell geranium oil, it's very minty, right? And I love that, right? I love that. And I love that perfume captures it, and everything else that's in it perfectly accentuates that. And it lives in this kind of like place where, for me, it's the most accurate, best geranium, but it's also kind of musky. I mean, it's my favourite Frederic Malle at the end of the day. Like, I love that perfume. I think it's amazing.
And
so
it is a good perfume, and I sort of enjoyed it after a while. And maybe it's actually not the best example, but I guess the point I was trying to make is mint seems either to be sledgehammer or it's sort of backgroundy and almost imperceptible. I mean, I couldn't have told you that. I mean, Derby is one of my favourite perfumes, but I could not have told you there was a mint note in that.
I might be making that up, though.
Well, I mean, it's perfectly believable because that would actually support my theory that mint is either sort of imperceptible or it's a sledgehammer. But I'm just looking up a few, like you won't have tried it, but the Xerjoff Torino 21. I'd be surprised if you tried it, but it's very fucking minty. It's like chewing gum almost to start with.
There's Une Air de Samsara, which is like a flanker of Samsara, and I got completely fooled by it, but don't be fooled because it doesn't smell like Samsara. The mint in it is nasal cleansing.
I fucking love that one as well.
Do you?
Yeah. And
I found it just like it cleared out my sinuses, and I was just like, it was so strong.
I think what's interesting is that I would be on Dan's camp, and I completely understand what you were all saying about mint, in that I immediately turned off as soon as I see mint in the notes or I hear about mint or whatever. I just think, nah, I don't necessarily want that in my perfume. But I do actually probably like a disproportionate amount. I mean, there's two that you've just named because I'd forgotten that one. I tried that quite recently. I think Rich Mitch sent me.
Rich Mitch sent it to me as well.
So there you go. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty fantastic.
I was really pleased to smell it, but I wouldn't be looking for a bottle.
Yeah.
I tell you, a mint that I do like is Nuit Étoilée by Annick Goutal. What a surprise. But it's meant to be the story of walking through a pine forest under dewy starlit skies, and there's herbs as you are being crushed as you walk through the pine forest.
Sounds like a super original inspiration.
Yeah, but I mean, she was probably one of the earlier people who did it, to be honest. It was a long time ago.
No.
But there's a mint in that is very noticeable, but with the herbalness of everything else, I actually really like it. But that's probably one of the few mints that I would reach for.
Can I just read the notes for Derby and just say that the original is Artemisia, bergamot, mint, lemon, nutmeg, flower, jasmine, rose, oak moss, leather, sandalwood, patchouli, vetiver. So yes, mint is
mint is
but
in
it's
there.
not in the Parisiennes one. Well, it's according to fucking Fragrantica, so they've now gone back to free to choose rather than free Julian Assange. So that's something, I suppose.
Oh yeah, Julian Assange, really. I guess the question I was really getting at was like, is mint technically difficult to work with though? Because as I say, it just seems to either be
yes.
a headbanger or very very tame. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I feel like we went off on a minty bender there. But Ben, where did we get to with you?
Well, so interestingly, I'm trying to decide if this would be a sledgehammer mint or too subtle, because as going with what James said, it's paired with geranium. It's mint and geranium in this perfume, and it works really well. But it is quite sledgehammery. Like, it is clearly a mint perfume. It's got this fresh kind of like cold mint side to it, but it does blend really well with like a green geranium sort of element. And I thought it was great. I thought it was really good. It didn't last super long, which was a bit sad. But considering the price, I will probably pick it up anyway, because I thought it was really good. And I say it was really reasonable. So yeah, that was nice. Onto one that's a bit more stinky. I got Bull's Blood by Imaginary Authors.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, how is it?
It's really nice, and it's not anywhere near as horrible as it might sound.
It sounds awful.
Yes, and the note listing is like blood,
No.
dark musks,
No.
geranium, patchouli, rose, tobacco. But it's very... So it's super birch tar heavy. Like, it has a lot of like smoky, like Beaufort kind of birch tar element to it. And when you first spray it, I would say it's not grey. It does have that irony blood element to it that does make you gag a little. But after about 5 minutes, it actually just becomes a really nice sort of tobacco-y, slightly smoky, quite ambery scent, and actually becomes quite nice. And you would be hard pressed, I think, to find anyone that would. No, actually, you would definitely find people that would find it
I
challenging.
love you, Ben. I love you so much.
It's a rose perfume.
When you've stopped gagging, it's actually not bad.
Yeah. I liked it. I did like it. The first, so I wore it as soon as it came. It was the first one I wore because I was most intrigued by it. And the first sort of probably 15, 20 minutes, I was like, well, this is maybe a bad idea. I've only just got up and I'm not feeling this. But yes.
And coming from you as well, Ben, and you love your weird shit.
But
so
it definitely gets better, and it actually becomes something quite innocuous, really, and sort of easy. But yeah, it does have rose, James. Yeah, it's I mean, it's pretty buried. There's a lot of other stuff that I would say are more prominent. Definitely like that kind of musky, sweaty, sort of patchouli sort of thing, and a smoke as well is super high up there.
The fact that I've not tried it since it was released, because I do, although I don't own any of those Imaginary Authors, I really like the branding, and I really like the sort of originality, and I believe that they're not looking at tropes or trying to copy anybody else or do anything. I think they truly are a really creative brand, and they have got quite a lot of releases, but they don't seem to rush things. I think they just do them in their own time. And like I say, although I don't own any of them, and I don't think there's even one that have been like, wow, I'm completely blown away by that. I think consistently they do things that are memorable, because I can think almost about any one of those perfumes like you could mention and go, oh yeah, and I wouldn't go, oh, what was that one like? Bull's Blood I remember vividly and being like, that is a good perfume. I don't like it just because I get a kind of manure-y sort of aspect when it kind of opens up, but it's almost like a really, really, really full-bodied red wine, right? Because like I like red wine, like, and I like Spanish wine, which is obviously really sort of full-bodied and stuff. And I've been getting some like Grand Reservas recently, like with a bit of age on them, right? And sometimes I'm even like, just the first glass. I mean, you know, arguably you could say after the second or third, like, could be any old shit, couldn't it? Right? But after the first glass, I was like, that's a bit too full-bodied for me. That's a bit too full-bodied for me. I've gone a bit too far with it, and it's not that enjoyable. Like I say, after the first one, then the second one goes down better. But do you know what I mean? It's that kind of like thing of like, I appreciate it and I like it and I think I want like more, but maybe I don't. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm saying there, but yeah, I remember that one, and it must be a few years ago that I've smelled that. So there is a Check and Speak, which I think is very similar or similar-ish. Do you know that Check and Speak brand?
I don't.
They've got a red one. Might be a bit cheaper than Bull's Blood. I'm not encouraging people to, not support that brand, but, just putting it out there.
Which Check and Speak? Because I've tried quite a few.
I think it's a red bottle. Is it what, the number 88? Might be possibly, yeah, or a black bottle. One of those. John Stephen is the perfumer.
John
He's a British
Stephen
guy, isn't he?
Yes, did quite a lot of the original Bodicea ones, I think. Also, is the perfumer that did the Dan Norton, Mr. Smilly perfume. I don't know which one. At least one of them, anyway.
I've never tried those. Are they any good?
They're not bad. Yeah, no, they're okay. I mean,
yeah, they're really good. They're really good.
No,
your voice went really high then, dude.
So there's two that I've tried, and one of them smelled quite a lot like sort of
Eau Sauvage or something.
Eau Sauvage-y sort of thing, yeah. And the other one smelled quite a bit like one of the Armani ones, and nice. Perfectly nice perfumes, nothing groundbreaking, and I felt like they were. I think he fell into the same trap that that quite a lot of people who sort of create perfumes do, which is to make things that they like and that are in the style that they want rather than in the style that other people might want. So it felt like very true and honest kind of perfumes for him, but not necessarily all that mass appealing. And I'm not massively wild on the styling either of them, if I'm honest. But I
kind of like that though.
That's fun.
That he didn't go for the mad mass appeal. I haven't smelt them, but I think, not that anyone's going to ask me to do a perfume, but if I did a perfume, I think I would definitely, or a line of perfumes, I'd definitely go for my style.
Yeah.
And not try and make something mass appealing.
What is your style?
Just for the sake of sales. I think I'd want things to be speak of me, if you know what I mean.
What would that entail?
So I would probably have some proper hardcore stinky animalics and nothing that smelled like Guidance.
Some tuberose.
And a big fat stinky tuberose.
Big fat stinky tuberose.
and and nothing that smells like Valaya, or Delina. Because those are just not my style.
No. My wife has been wearing Delina recently. It smells really nice.
It's so popular. It's so popular, but I just
fucking strong, right?
It's
insane, right? She can spray that in the morning and leave the house, and an hour later I can still smell it. It is fucking
Is that the
mental.
pink Parfum de Mar?
That's the one. Yeah. It's perfectly nice. I mean, it's
I wasn't offended by it.
What's interesting about it, if there is indeed anything interesting about it, is that sometimes it smells like sort of cotton candy, and sometimes it smells like a slightly sour rose oud. It doesn't always smell just like sort of just like generic, perfume pink vomit. It is actually a little bit, I don't know, it's a little bit different, because I smell it on her and go, what are you wearing there? And she'll just say, it's still the Delina. Oh, right, okay. Bit random, smells different today. Anyway, have we finished with Ben's perfumes yet? Because I'm
one last one. I'm going on, aren't I? But
well, no, we all are.
We keep interrupting you.
That's how it works.
One last one that I smelt, but I definitely want to get it in. So I tried, and I don't know why I keep doing it to myself, right? Because clearly this brand has departed from what they were and what I used to love about them. But I tried Penguin by Zoologist, which is the new zoologist. Another zoologist, I know, right? Yeah. And it has like this, when you spray it, it's got Isocord and Antarctic air. So it's basically like a menthol twist to it, right? Which works quite well. It's quite novel. It's not great, but it only lasts seconds and then it moves on. But then it basically just smells like molten brown Russian leather shower gel. And when I say shower gel, I mean the shower gel, not the perfume. It smells like a shower gel. And for a perfume at that price, it just kicks me in the balls that what in the fuck are you playing at? But to be honest, and because then as it dries down, I mean, I'm being a little unkind. It is good perfume and it's quite impressive. But as it dries down, it just becomes this like shower jelly blue fragrance. And you just think, oh, come on, fucking hell. Like what work? But really, I should really, this is my own fault because the brand departed a long time ago from what it started out as. You know, when Victor started, quite openly and transparently. So it's not, you know, it's my fault. But you know, he openly said that he changed those perfumes because you know he bummed off a bunch and redone them. And he openly said he redone them because people were sniffing the caps and not liking them, and he wanted them to be more appealing. So
more wearable.
He got rid of the old ones. So the brand has gone in a direction that is not what I like anyway. But
how dare you be popular, you cunt.
I know.
But you'd much rather have the icy, snowy air, and then the penguin dives into the salty sea, and then it comes up with a fish, and then it eats the fish, and then it vomits the fish, and there's all fish everywhere, and then the polar bear comes and eats the penguin, and then there's blood everywhere, and then all the blood disappears, and it's
I'll just say,
then there's global warming, and we all die.
I think as far as all that stuff with the zoologist brand is concerned, I remember at the time there was a lot of people kicking off about that change of perfumers or whatever, because he redid Bat, didn't he? And that was the one that really pissed people off and pissed off the perfumer. But the way I saw it, people were kind of expecting me to be like, oh yeah, like sticking up for her. And I was like, well, no, I mean, it's his brand. He can do what the fuck he wants with it, can't he, really? So I never really got that there was this big kind of like thing of like, oh, he's a bastard and she's like, you know, this kind of tortured fucking artist. It was like, well, not really, because she still obviously has that formula, and she was able to release her own perfume kind of off the back of the success of that. So really, the sales that she made were kind of, you know, maybe owed a little bit of something to the zoologist. I don't know. I just thought it was all a bit like people were kind of getting on his back a bit. And I was like, well, you know, needs must. And, you know, he's trying to run a business. And I understand that as a commercial decision. But this is where perfume fans get really emotional about stuff. And I understand having an opinion on things and being like, oh, no, you know, and especially if you love a brand and you feel really close to it. But people get like far too, they see things from a really emotional like standpoint of I'm a fan and I'm a perfume consumer, and this is like this industry is somehow supposed to be there to like support great like art and whatever, and unfortunately it's quite cynical, and it's kind of not. It's sort of,
Victor has always been quite open about that side of things, that, you know, he's there to run a business.
I agree.
You know, got to be profitable.
He's never made any pretense that it's anything other than that, which is what I find kind of refreshing about him, and the fact that he is accessible and can be reached on social media and stuff. It's kind of a whole new sort of thing. So I say, I didn't really get the criticism. I thought it was a bit, you know, it's just because I thought it's just because people love that perfume so much. And that kind of is like, well, I gave you something great, albeit in sort of collaboration with another person. And now that's kind of over and there'll be something else. So like
what, my understanding of Bat, just to get it out there, is that the perfumer wanted it to be made with specific oils, and Victor said no because they were too expensive. Yeah. So he wanted it done with his oils, and so she basically said, stick it then. Yeah. I think that's about the long and the short, or he said stick it, but either way, that's the long and the short of it.
Yeah.
But I love them as a brand, and I think the thing is, I think they're so like cool. Like the bottles are cool, the illustrations are amazing, like and the concepts are great, and I like them, but I don't know, I just keep getting disappointed by them, and this one again just disappointed. But it was a good perfume. You know, I actually exclusively use Molten Brown Russian Leather shower gel. I love it. It's great. It's a nice smell. I think they've changed the name now to Dark Leather, haven't they? Because of the association.
Sure.
But I love it. I love it to bits. And so having it in a perfume, great. But I don't know. I was expecting something else that I shouldn't have been. But if you like shower jelly blue perfumes, with a little bit of interest, with the menthol up top that was quite interesting and novel. And it does have a little bit of a seaweedy, sort of salty sea element to it. I'd say it's probably quite interesting. I think I'm being a little harsh on it by saying it's just a crap sort of shower gel scent.
Well, from
it's better than that.
Yeah.
But it is, at the end of the day, like a blue shower jelly scent.
From memory, I went into Molten Brown when that was first around and went, oh, cool, this like Russian leather. And I tried it. Well, I actually smelled the shower gel because there was no perfume. They didn't have a perfume. It was just a shower gel. And they did actually bring out a perfume then later, I think, because I was like, this would be a great perfume. However, it's quite a crude leather accord in terms of like it's just tons of IBQ. From what I can smell, it just smells like an absolute shit ton of IBQ, which is great because IBQ is a great material and it's cool. And the fact that it's in a shower gel, it gives a really very smoky, sort of effect, which is really interesting. And I thought it was interesting as a shower gel, and even more so when they brought it out as a perfume. Very good. Yeah, I mean, I like it, but I would say it's kind of I don't know, like a Russian leather is a thing, isn't it? It's kind of like the Chanel leather accord. It's sort of, it's said to be a thing. It's that thing of, didn't they use, like, they actually use birch tar on
their boots is what you said, I remember. Yeah.
So I think there's different interpretations of that, but I would say it's more of a subtle thing than that. But that is quite like full on. But yeah, I remember I did like it. I remember going through a bottle of that shower gel like super quick and being like, "Oh, this is ace." But yeah, no, interesting.
Yeah, but I'd say not a terrible perfume, but not. I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. But maybe I should accept that brand isn't for me anymore and move on. But yeah, but I think others might like it. Saying the novel thing at the top with the menthol was interesting. Yeah.
I'm just looking on the eBay. There's an original bat formulation going for £500.
I've got 1 mil of that. And do you know what? Isn't that great? Like.
It's interesting I think I'm glad it exists, but I wouldn't wear it regularly.
Yeah, to be honest,
not enough to spend 500 quid on 60 mil of it.
No. So anyway, that was my 2 weeks. Dartboards and loads of other perfumes.
It does sound like a very enjoyable 2 weeks.
I think Loire de Louis was probably the highlight. I thought that was fucking special.
Nice. Nice. So, I mean, I say 2 weeks, but in fact, it's been 3 weeks, hasn't it? Because we couldn't record last week because Fliss had broadband trouble. And I'm slightly anxious that James is about to hit us, not with 14, but with 21 perfumes.
You're wrong.
Oh.
Because I've actually kind of been getting into like not wearing perfume quite a lot.
Obviously, for a perfume enthusiast. How
just
many
on
days?
Odd days. One.
1,
2.
No, 2.
3.
Just getting into it, bear in mind.
4.
4.
So 4 out of 3 weeks is not very many days, but it is for me.
It's quite a lot, yeah. Okay, so by the power of maths, you've got something around 16 or 17 perfumes for us?
Yeah.
Okay, so, fuck it, let's get into them.
Well, I wore, funnily enough, we were talking about that, but it was 3 weeks ago and I'd completely forgotten. I wore Frederic Malle, Geranium Pour Monsieur.
Nice.
Which we've already covered, really. So that's got that one out of the way. So,
indeed.
Dan's not going to be moaning about
one down.
What I will say about that, though, is that we're saying about the mintiness, but I'd say geraniol, which is the main kind of component of geranium, and it's in loads of rose. It's quite heavy in rose as well, like in rose oil and stuff. Doesn't really smell minty, particularly. It's got all the other character of like this dry, kind of vaguely floral. It's a strange smell, but it's not very minty. But geranium oil is really minty, so interesting. Just an observation. Anyway, so Tuesday I wore the Creed Absolute Aventus again, I still think it's, it's perfectly serviceable perfume, but it's all fruity. It's not it doesn't capture the original smokiness of Aventus particularly. But I mean, it's enjoyable, but it's, then the next day I wore nothing.
It's insubstantial, unsubstantial. I don't know what the word is. Which is correct, but it
both
lacks,
or either of those.
It lacks substance. Substance.
Agreed.
Substance.
But a lot of people have kind of got on board with it. So then I wore Le Mal Parfum by Jean-Paul Gaultier, which to some might be some throwaway bullshit. And it kind of is, but I really like it. Anyway, then I wore Eau de Californie by Celine.
Nice.
Which I liked, don't love. It's a kind of woody perfume. Is it in the vein of a sort of rosewoody kind of thing, sort of? I think I had some more interesting things to say about it, but I can't really remember.
Isn't that the Palo Santo-y one?
Allegedly. A lot of people say, I'm from California, I smell Palo Santo all the time, and this really smells like it's got a Palo Santo note. I am not detracting from what they say. They could be totally right, but the Palo Santo that I've smelled, which we can all still fucking smell probably, is horrendous and more like sandalwood, I would say. But there is a sandalwood element to this perfume. I don't think it's a bad perfume. I think it's good.
None of them are bad. But they're all terribly elegant. But I've been through a load of them. Black Tie is the one that I kept, and Night Clubbing is the one that I maybe wish I'd kept as well.
Yeah, I love night clubbing. Like, I think night clubbing.
I'm really surprised you sold that one.
Because my rationale was, I'm never going to wear it. I mean, I love it for what it is, but I can't think of a single occasion that I would ever choose to wear that. Would I wear it to go out for lunch with mum? Nope.
No.
Would I wear it to work? No. Would I wear it for a night out? Probably no. So, would I wear it to the gym?
What's the point?
Well, I did wear it to the gym, and I sort of quite enjoyed that. Smelling like...
But that was just because you were being contrary.
Yeah. I enjoyed wearing it around the house, but I figure, I've got hundreds and hundreds of perfumes. I've got to stop having them just for wearing occasionally around the house. So that was the theory anyway. But I sort of still regret it anyway.
So anyway, what have I got here? Amouage Interlude 53, which
Boom.
I love.
Boom.
I would say it's excellent, and I still prefer my other interlude.
You've got one of the first edition ones, haven't you?
Yeah, which is very nice, and I never use it. I mean, it's atomically powerful.
It's bizarrely strong. It's
insane. But good at the same time. It's not like it's not superficial in any way. It's not like, I'm just boosting this with loads of tenacious kind of aroma chemical shit. It's actually just a strong perfume throughout for the sake of it. And so is this. And I love that those Amouage extra concentrations, whatever we're going to call them, they all have this kind of any of the what I perceive as the natural elements. So you've got is it like fucking oregano or something in there, isn't there? Like a herbal kind of element, which I really get hardcore in the opening of that. And yeah, I still think it's really, really, really good. But like I say, I've got the original one, so maybe if I didn't, I would be more on board. I do like all those high concentration Amouages. I think they're really good. Then I wore Eau Sauvage on the Sunday. Fucking
nice.
Right. It's lovely, but then I wore Celine Black Tie, which Dan has said is the only one that he kept. Lovely. We know what that's all about. It's kind of a tobacco-ish thing, woody, sort of bit of iris in there. It's nice. Then I wore Vava Vroom on the Penhaligons, which Ben is familiar with. Vava Vroom. Yeah, I think I like that one. It was kind of a fruity, sort of slightly throwaway fruity musk thing. But actually, when you look at some of those, you're like, these are actually really well-made perfumes, but they sort of let themselves down by just being a bit, don't know, a bit sort of cheesy or something. I don't know what it is. There's just something like lacking about them. But I still think they're good in a kind of modern, when you actually step back from it and go, come on, what are Penhaligon's doing here? They're just making stuff for high street, but slightly elevated high street shit, which is fine. Then I wore a Merchant of Venice, which I've only written Merchant of Venice, but it was kind of prompted by Fliss, because I was like, oh, I've got some of those Merchant of Venice samples knocking about somewhere. Oh, it was called Mystic Incense, I think. Is that one?
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, it's nice.
Chocolatey frankincense. Yeah. It's a bit like sucking a Werther's original at the back of Mass at Christmas.
That's quite specific. I like it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a big Western church incense with a bit of pine needles and a big caramel note.
Yeah.
So and I love it. I think it's a great Christmas frag. I wore it a lot at Christmas.
Fliss has done it absolute justice there. It's what it's like. It's a Werther's original in the fucking vestry or whatever. So anyway, Thursday I wore nothing. Then I wore Chanel Anteus because I just pop out these little favourites every now and again. We all know that. Then I wore L'Histoire du Parfum, Olympia Music Hall. Oh. What are you saying about that?
I had a bottle and I stupidly sold it and I regret it. I love it.
Yeah, amazing. Kind of strangely metallic-y. Reminds me of that Comme des Garçons one that's quite iconic, but it's different again.
But there's a rosiness. So it is meant to smell like the inside of a music hall when everyone's gone away. So there is all that dirty smoke and that kind of leathery end dust around the whole thing. But then there's a rosiness to it as well, which is what I think sets it apart from some of those other perfumes that do that kind of all but nothing memory thing.
Yeah, it's very good.
And
I loved
good.
it enough to buy it. And I remember I tried it in Paris, actually. And
do you have a bottle? Because you can't get hold of it now.
Yeah, I do, yeah. It's only a 50ml, but...
Well, if ever you don't want to have a bottle of it, you know where to go.
You never know. I might not want to have a bottle of it. You never know. So, anyway, then I wore Chanel Paris Edinburgh, which I bought because there was a rare, like 20% off at Chanel or something, and it was already reasonably priced because those.
But there was a whole bunch of the full 3 sets. The set of 3 were on eBay for like 70 quid for all 3.
Wow, I mean, that's
and
amazing.
some discount stores had it, and everybody from the group bought them, and I nearly did, and then I was like, I don't know,
They're a bit wishy-washy, but they're all really good. When I first tried them, when they were, Chanel have got these low ones, I was like, oh, right, okay, maybe a bit of fresher. And I was like, they're all nice, pleasant. And I was like, they're kind of a bit cheaper for a reason because they're a bit fleeting and a bit, and again, not that there's anything wrong with that, but having tried some of the other ones and worn them a bit more, I'm like, oh, wow, this one actually... like lasts a bit longer and stuff, and I do actually think they're all viable purchases. Really, I would wear any of them. But
the very summertime cologne, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think
when you want to smell lovely, but you don't, and the sun is going to be beating down on you, so you don't want to be
too
gassing
heavy.
yourself out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think they fulfill that brief perfectly. And they're very
classy in that Chanel way. When I talk about that whole kind of white silk shirt or, white linen dress type of perfume, they're exactly those things.
Absolutely, which is great for them as well because it captures another sort of vibe. And I understand why they've got that line of like freshy type things. And the thing is about Edinburgh is that it's the most masculine out of that collection, I would argue, if that's the thing. And it's the most like mossy and almost towards, like a little bit gin and tonic-y, Amanda Beadle's, that green one that we all like.
Chenoir.
It's not a million miles from that, but like it's very spritzy, and but it does have a really herbal, strong green sort of character, which I think to me, I'm still not 100% on board with it. I bought it and I was like, oh yeah, I quite like this, and then every time I wear it I'm like, there's something slightly off-putting about it, but that makes it even more
I remember why I didn't buy them now. I think there's a lovely guy called George Yang on the groups who he's got exquisite taste, and he said,
I think I know
you
him,
don't need it, Fliss, because of the amount of early Goutal colognes you have, you won't wear these Chanels if you're wearing those. They're just...
Do you know what? I think he's onto something there. I think that's a good... Then on the Monday I wore nothing again. Then I wore Comme des Garçons Bleu Santal, which is a really heavy Jarvinol, woody, synthetic sandalwood, but it's probably one of the best ones, I think. Then I wore Frederic Malle Parfum de Thérèse, which is the one that, what's his name?
That's a Runitska.
Yeah, he made it for his better half, Thérèse. In the 1950s, I think it was compounded, and it smells like a modern take on like old sheepery type stuff. So if you like that, but it's very clear and concise, and like there's no stuffiness whatsoever to it. It's very much all those same themes though, of like an old lady sort of perfume that people fucking moan about or whatever, but in this kind of modern way. And the fruitiness of it, it's literally like ahead of its time. But again, it was released whenever it was released for Mal, and it's interesting, the story behind it, I think, more than the actual perfume, because the perfume is very inoffensive, I would say, but it's definitely worth checking out, especially if you like all that old stuff but you like kind of modernity. It's interesting that was what he was doing. I mean, okay, behind the scenes for his wife or whatever, it's his kind of beloved sort of perfume, but it's a very interesting sort of fruity accords with this kind of old Chypre kind of head-ish, but it's quite a light perfume. It's nice, it's lovely. Then I wore Weekend in Normandy by Parfum Nicolai, fucking whatever it's called. Pat. Is it Pat or Pam? It's Pat. Patricia de Nicolai. Weekend in Normandy is a very, very lovely kind of jasmine, ylang, white floral. And you go, oh, okay, it's a white floral and citrus. Is it just a boring, cologne type, 4711 bullshit? It's nothing like that at all. It's totally its own thing. It's kind of creamy, but like really fresh and like bergamot-y, and just, it's amazing. It is amazing. It's almost got like a lime, like more of a limey sort of like twist to it. I fucking love it. I absolutely just adore it. And Penhaligon's, again, out of that same collection, and it's a rose one. Like, does Ben know these? I can't remember. I didn't write it down.
I remember that.
It's the red one out of the new Eau de fucking whatever. So let me just, 1 second, sorry. Penhaligon's. If I go to that collection, which one that we know in that collection, Varavav Room. Okay, and then it'll show us all the rest of the collection, hopefully at the bottom, and it's the fucking red one. There we go, Liquid Love, it's called. Yeah, I mean, it's a kind of soapy... Oh, hang on. Yeah, it's a soapy rose with a kind of pink pepper, and you'd think, oh yeah, you'd like that. It's another one of those where it's kind of like, oh, okay, there's better rose stuff out there. And then as it grows on you, you're like, actually, this has loads of the things of roses that I like that Toy Boy one, a few others. So it's got like modern, like cashmere and like muskiness underneath, that pink pepper, like marriage with the rose. The rose actually is better than you first think. And I do like a soapy rose, a soapy like musky rose. That's like, a thing that I always like. So why have I got something against this? Well, I haven't really. It was okay, but it's still just like in this new Penhaligon's line that I don't hate either. I was quite nice about it, wasn't I? But it's just something, just I wouldn't buy it. I don't know.
It's great if you don't have a pink pepper rose. But
sure,
there are a lot of them around.
There are.
Quite
that was my
frankly.
problem
Let's
with
be
it.
honest.
It was my least favourite in the collection, but that was probably influenced by the fact that I've already got a perfume in that sort of like area that I really enjoy, and so it was like this is offering me nothing extra. And also I think the note listing is actually quite interesting, and it doesn't live up to that. It's got like hazelnut and chili pepper and stuff like that, and I was like, cool, this sounds interesting. But it really wasn't that sort of wild, It was really a lot more standard than that.
Well, so last night, so I'm not wearing anything today, but last night I wore Ambre Nuit by Dior,
Nice.
and I have like quite an old bottle because I believe that the new formulas are not as good, which I've smelled it and I'm like, yeah, actually, maybe you're onto something there, but I don't know. But anyway, I went to, we've been doing that Come Dine With Me thing. We'd recorded all the nights and then I sort of edited them all together into like episodes, and I put loads of other trippy shit in, like weird like stone freak out sequences and just all kinds of bullshit.
Very out of character.
Sounds just you. Yeah.
Because it was like kind of, I just kind of enhanced all the sort of funny shit because it was all as like pissed up, like slagging each other's food off and stuff, and so I did loads of like crazy, spent like a week and a half fucking editing it. You know what I mean? It's like this insane odyssey of like shit. I did like loads of like what's it called, like what do you call it, where you like oh, my fucking head's gone, man. Just like taking things out of like movies and stuff and like meme-y type shit, and it's just a complete fucking mishmash of shit. But anyway, it went down really well last night and it was kind of well received. But anyway, I was wearing the Ambre Nuit, and as soon as I got through the door, I was kind of accosted by a little man in short shorts, shall we say, who was kind of sitting on my knee, like sniffing my neck, going, "Oh my God, what is that? You smell amazing." And it was accusing me of having a semi, which I didn't have. So, but anyway, so enough of that. But no, the Ambre Nuit, I started telling him about Ambre Nuit, going, "You need to get this." And then he went, "Oh, fucking hell, 200 odd quid a bottle, I don't think." And I was like, this is a person who wears fucking like Gucci loafers and like spends stupid money on like fucking weird bullshit. So I was like, and he wears like tons of perfume and like Tom Ford and, he buys expensive shit. So I was like, and then he was kind of balking at the price of the Dior, which just tells you that Dior have put their prices up like a stupid amount. If even he was going, "Oh, fucking hell, it's expensive." But I suppose if you use loads of perfume, but he was compliments. He was virtually like fucking licking me neck. He was like, "Oh my God, that's like the best thing ever." And it was really nice to see that kind of response, because I haven't had that sort of response from a perfume for ages. And a lot of people just assume you smell good just because, you wear lots of different perfumes and stuff. And they ask me about it and I kind of just go, "Oh yeah, it's this," or whatever. And they've no intention of finding it. But he was like really keen to be like, "That's the fucking best thing I've ever smelled." So, there you go.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's it. Boom.
Up to date. Wow. I quite like Ambre Nuit. It's a nice perfume.
It's fucking spectacular.
It's there's a Xerjoff one that's quite similar.
I think there was a few that came after that have really gone, they were onto something with this, but I think the original sort of breakthrough was made by, it's Demachy, isn't it?
Is it? I believe
think so.
that.
Yeah, I mean, haters will go, "He never made that. I don't see that he made that." Because people fucking hate that guy. I'm like, why? He's made some good perfumes.
What's to hate? What is to hate?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right, well, let's knock part one right on the fucking noggin and regroup with a nice cup of tea in like 5 minutes. We will be back if we can be asked. If we're not back, if the episode just abruptly ends here, sorry, we couldn't be bothered. Otherwise, if the episode continues, we look forward to seeing you in a few minutes. We'll be back. Part 2 of Les Oderants. Stick with us. Right. Okay, we decided to come back, you lucky bastards. So welcome back to part 2 of Les Oderants.
So lucky.
Yeah, so lucky. Okay, right. So last week, well, it's not last week, is it? I keep saying last week's episode, but it's always 2 weeks ago. And in this case, it was fucking 3 weeks since we recorded it. But nevertheless, the last episode that we released, we did our LesOdes £200 budget for buy some stuff, and it was a pretty popular episode, actually. I don't often say this about our show, but it did seem to be unusually popular. It seemed to strike something of a chord with some of the listeners, and actually there was quite a lot of Instagram and Facebook-y sort of discussion about, folks doing their own LesOdes 200 challenge. And we thought we would invest a little bit of time running through some of the suggestions that people had come up with and then explaining why they are wrong. Well,
can I just also say that, they didn't consult with us or our lawyers, our legal team, or they didn't ask permission to use the LesOdes thing, did they? Or kind of use it.
So, but I gave out a hashtag.
I know, but
you didn't invoice them.
We didn't discuss.
I was under
print.
duress. You're saying I was under, and I did that as a way of saving ourselves, as opposed.
Well, I think we can bill them retrospectively. I think that's the idea. So each one of these, you expect the bill.
Legally, you are on extremely firm ground, I would say.
Yeah.
Legally speaking.
No, in all seriousness, we appreciate how well received.
I did actually ask for lists in our Patreon group and our Facebook group, so I think you and I need to have a chat offline. Before you call the lawyer.
Nah, just send them the fucking bill. It's fine.
Well, they can pay. They can keep it out of court. The ball, will be in their court, and they can keep it out of court by settling out of court. Do you know what I mean?
Multiple court references there.
There is.
Right.
It's because of all this tennis I've been playing.
So look, can I check? First question: did anybody include anything by
Mancera?
Or Bobby Montal? I was actually. I was actually thinking of I've fucking forgotten their name. African Leather. What's the name? Memo.
Oh, Memo. No.
Not that I saw. I haven't noticed one, I have to say.
No. This is a shame. Okay, so I mean, Fliss, you have done all the compiling of this because I think it appeals to your psychotic sort of spreadsheety sort of control freak view of the world. So thank you for assembling all of this.
You give me such good write-ups, Dan. I love it.
Look, I think there's going to be a bit of a range here. But I need to be honest and say I'm coming at this very cold. So I haven't opened the email that you sent yet. So I guess I'm going to have to do that and start having a look at things. But perhaps, Fliss, you'd like to tell us where to start.
Okay, so this is riveting for the listeners at home, but I've sent you all an email with compiled lists from our Patreon, our Facebook, and what I could from Instagram. Then, and this is a whole separate thing, 2 amazing Instagrammers, Perfume Heiko and One Fragrance at a Time, have created. They just took it and they just ran with it. And on a completely different level. And they created not only their main lists for themselves, like their lists, the 200 They were using $200, I think, not £200.
No, I think they were using £200, but if they went over in dollars, obviously if it was still under in pounds, from what I understand.
Yeah.
But also, just to say, Dan, saying that Fliss was a psycho, you ain't seen nothing yet compared to these fuckers who put these lists together, because, I mean, they went fucking apeshit.
Oh, my God.
So
They did. There's loads of them. I mean, it's great. Like I say, I'm glad they sort of ran with it.
Bit scary.
It's phenomenal.
Little bit psychotic,
so Perfume Haiku, Danielle at Perfume Haiku, and Ty at One Fragrance at a Time not only produced their own lists for themselves, which they published on Insta, just hashtag LesOdes200. They also created lists, each of them separately, for the 1970s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and I think 2010s as well. And then they created master lists from their own separate lists for each of those decades as well.
Is anybody else getting a fucking nosebleed listening to this? I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, these people are far more serious than we are.
They would love absolutely, far more serious than we are. Far more serious than we are. And their lists are in a PDF, which is attached to the email that I've sent you. It's amazing.
As per the attached PDF.
But I think what is interesting is the amount of really cheap, useful reference material there is in this, in terms of people. If you were now like looking at perfume history, you could look at these lists, and I think that they're really comprehensive discussions of what you can still buy that's still available, that sort of like embodies those decades. And we should definitely ask their permission to see if we can publish them somewhere as a whole as well. They are also on their individual Insta accounts. So if you want to go and follow Perfume Haiku or One Fragrance at a Time, then you'll be able to have a good look through. Maybe do it while we're chatting,
Fucking God.
Are you only just reading it now?
I'm just looking at it now. This is, guys, you are not well. I mean, this is really unfucking hinged stuff. I feel like a fucking fraud sitting here recording while these guys are out here doing this sort of shit. This is mad. Right, okay, Fliss, where are we going to start? Come on.
Well, if you go back to the main body of the email,
yes.
there are lists that have been sent in from various people, and I think the thing that set it off for me was, I think the first person to do a list was Tom from The Scentist.
Right. Okay, yeah, got it. Yeah, so he went for Terre d'Hermès.
Well, I mean, he went for a very modern list, which I found really interesting. And so Terre d'Hermès, dark rum, which I don't know at all.
I don't know that.
Café Croissant Café, again, I don't know, but apparently it's a delicious gourmand.
It's a 9mm roll on, and it's 30 quid. I mean, is that good?
Well, if he likes...
Depends on the brand. I don't know the brand, or,
Duh.
Yeah, I mean, if this is stuff that he likes, then, 1740, and then Ambra, Kanda, I think presumably Kandahar. But apart from Terre d'Hermès, I don't know any of those perfumes, which was really interesting to me.
The 1740, I assume that's Histoire de Parfum one, I assume.
Good value, 15ml for less than 30 quid. I did remember seeing his list. I think it is that one. I did own that perfume. It's a good perfume. Interesting. I don't know the Croissant Café or the dark
Croissant Café immediately sounds not
Café.
My jam. Not my jam and croissant.
Yeah, I mean... It's
sort of the opposite.
And the fact that they're roll-on oils, they're probably really good. I mean, roll-ons put me off, just because there'll probably be some sticky, shit. I don't know.
I don't like roll-ons very much. There's only one perfume that I have as a roll-on because it smells palpably different when it's a roll-on and when it's a spray, and that's Nuit Andalouse by MDCI. But any other roll-on, I'm just like, I genuinely don't see the point of them. Anyway. There was a nice list from a guy called Bernard on Facebook.
Bernard, well, I like him already.
Bernard, yeah. Or I have a feeling it might be Bernard. But yeah.
Bernard.
We'll call him Bernard. Yeah. And he had 3. He just chose 3, which is the minimum amount for us we said we would make a collection. And he chose Ambre Préchaud by Maître Parfumeur et Gantier, which he called a beautiful, powerful amber. Caron pour Homme, beautiful lavender and vanilla. And then Costume National Homme, grapefruit, and then harmoniously changes to spices.
Not fucking around, is he, Bernard? He's just like...
He's not fucking around. And and I quite like that. I was like... I know I was the worst culprit for going, how much can I get on a list? How much can I squeeze on? But I loved that he just went, no, 3.
Very French heavy,
70 quid, 75 quid.
Is it? I mean, I'm assuming he is a Bernard, because it's like, it's very French. They're all French brands, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's,
I think...
Sorry, what was the third one from Bernard?
Costume National.
Costume
That is a French brand, isn't it? I mean, obviously Caron and the...
Costume National Homme is superb.
Yeah, I like
it. Oh, do you have it?
I did have it. It's basically quite similar to... and not for the first time, I'm referencing Amouage Jubilation, but it's in that sort of jubilation-y, sort of spicy...
Fruity, sparkly.
Sparkly jobby, yeah. Yeah, it's a really good perfume, and it's great value. They've got those...
Yeah, he said it's £71 for 100 mil.
That's good. And they're quite cool brand, those, aren't they? The kind of, and it's sort of modern, that.
Costume National is very cool. Yeah, it's a clothing brand.
I don't know enough by it, to
I wouldn't be... surprised if it's a Bertrand Duchefort. I don't know if it is or not. I mean, it'd be maybe worth looking up, because it kind of reminds me a little bit of that one, Enchanted Forest. Potentially a little bit kind of berry.
The Vagabond Prince one.
Vagabond Prince, yeah. A little bit.
I tell you what interesting me about Bernard's list, or Bernard, is that they're all quite big, heavy hitters, but they're all actually quite reasonable price when you look at it like that. Like I was quite surprised that they're all under 100 quid, despite them all being like sort of perfumes that I expected to be double that, you know, like big sort of heavy boys.
Yeah.
Heavy boys.
It's a bloody classy list, I think, actually.
Yeah, it is.
I've just looked it up. It's a Dominic Ropion.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I just think it's a really classy list. And that it stood out for me because it was so opposite to my approach.
Try and get as many in as possible.
Try and get as many in as possible, yeah. There's a boldness to that, which I liked. There was a really nice list from someone called Siraj on Facebook, which is for a gent in his mid-40s and wears the scent for himself. And he had Nikolai Capnarelli, Lavigne Arpège, Jupe de Bain, Une Nuit Nomade Jardin de Masfa, which I don't know at all.
Quid? I'm sure you could.
Jupe de Bain.
Can you get that still?
I don't know. Let's look it up. And then he put Cacherel Loulou and Idealo Une Amorette, which I really enjoyed those in comparison to the kind of more masculine leaning, just to punch that massive floral in. Lulu was something that I thought of and I didn't put in my list in the end, but I liked the boldness of his list as well. Where is he getting that for 14 quid? There were things that came up a lot, I've noticed. Rochas Femme has come up on a number of people's list as something that we missed or that wasn't added. Sarah Jessica Parker's Stash is on a number of lists as well. There's been a lot of hype on that on the groups recently as well, hasn't there? Although every time anybody orders it, is it from which place are they ordering it? It's coming through
Natino, I think. They're all leaking.
Yeah. They're all leaking, which is a shame. Glossier You has come up a number of times, which I don't know. I wore it. I think I had a sample once. I don't remember it being my favourite, but I think it has a lot of love for the people who love it. Like, yeah, definitely cheap, cheerful, excellence. Lots of Sarah Jessica Parker stuff. I always forget about her other stuff. Covet, Stash, as well as Lovely, as well. She does do good stuff. I know she's very celeb fraggy, but it surprised me how much she was coming up on the lists as, things people like.
Jessica on Facebook had Rochas Femme and Sarah Jessica Parker Stash, but also had Eau de Gaga. Shouldn't have missed that. That's a fucking banger. That cost me like £8 and it's such a good perfume.
I remember you saying, yeah.
Really good. She said that it's fresh citrus, but it's a tea fragrance as well. It's brilliant. Really good. And so cheap. And she also mentions some Bois Vanille as well, which says or Chagui, which is interesting because they're not they're not alike at all. But Bois Vanille is does anyone know Bois Vanille? Serge Luton?
Yeah.
Super heavy, like candle.
Yeah.
Like really.
Very, like heavy.
Big time. I had it. I sold it on because it was just too much like big candle, like sort of just massive chonk.
It's thick.
Chunky boy.
It's chunky. Yeah. It's chunky. I had it and I sold it too because I just never wore it. I'd sniff the cap and go, oh, that's
lovely.
It's a bit like those heavy honey frags.
Yeah.
In as much as I like to sniff the cap of it, but then just to wear is just I can't.
Lovely fragrance. Like I really liked it, but I just never wore it because it was just so much like woof, so big. But yeah, that's a good choice. Fairly expensive though, I should imagine. But
I couldn't work out how she'd done her costings because to have a Serge Lutens in there, that's a pretty
steep, I should imagine. I mean, you can buy them secondhand on eBay quite good.
But that's not allowed in the rules, though, is it?
Is that not the...
No.
Yeah, no, then probably quite expensive, I should imagine, because even... Well, I don't know. I was trying to think when I got my own Bois Vanille off of eBay, but brand new, and that was about £80, I think, for 100ml.
Still a lot of the budget, though, isn't it?
It's a lot of the budget.
It is.
Jessica might have fiddled it.
Yeah. Andras on Facebook had a really nice list for a 30-something man who wants to up his game but be comfortable in the meantime. I love him in particular because he said no effing Mancera or Montal.
Good.
Nice one.
You can
That's
stay.
Exactly. You can stay. You're in the group. Bentley for Man, intense.
I think that's
Diptyque.
great. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, arguably it's a clone, but it's a great perfume.
Oh, I mean, hardly. What, the Luban?
Yes.
Luban, yeah.
Yes, the Luban.
I mean, I wouldn't say so, no.
No?
No.
Okay. All right. It is not a clone. It has been confirmed by the Arbiter. I think it's...
it might be. I mean, I know what you mean, but Idol, no, I don't.
Idol, yes. Idol EDT.
Yeah, I mean, I love both those perfumes, but I can see, there's a thread, but I don't see
You don't
it as a
reckon?
clone. No.
Cool. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, you can have it. It's great. I've got both of them. I'm now going to get them out and spray them next to each other, and then
Spray them and have a little thing.
and then like try and argue my case against James, which I will now argue just to be fucking contrary.
Do you know what will
but there you
happen?
go.
Do you know what will happen?
Yeah.
You'll do it and you'll go, they're fucking wild. He's right. He's right again.
He's
Go
right.
and do it now. Go and get them out. Get them out.
What a fucking bastard. He's right.
But even if not, that little bit of psyching you out there has head fucked you now. So your mind
done.
more steadfast in your belief in that.
Yeah, no,
definitely does smell the same.
Will it work? Will it work? Okay, good. What else was on that list?
Diptyque 34 Boulevard Saint-Germain, which I don't know, but I do like Diptyques.
I like that one. Yeah, it's got like a weird sort of little, like wiki thing in the bottle, hasn't it? Like the dibbler, the little tube.
The Dibbler.
The Dibbler.
The dibbler is like
The The technical terminology on this podcast is second to none.
That's why they tune in, you know.
I know. GOF Trump, a sandalwood cologne.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
That's really good.
Really nice.
That smells like a sort of... It's a bit like Chanel Egoiste, doesn't it?
No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, you're right. You're right on that.
Thank you. Oh, you fucker. So everything I say tonight, James is going, right, well, give me a fucking example of that. Go on. I don't agree with that. Go on. It's like, you contrary fuck. Finally, he agrees with something. Good. I'm pleased about this.
Frank Bockley Musk.
I don't know it.
Lovely cream leather. I don't know that one.
No. I don't know either.
No.
I mean, this is what's mad about it, right? If you think that between the four of us, we must have tried, I mean, multiple thousands of perfume, many thousands of perfumes, and the number of perfumes that are coming up on these lists that we're just sort of all going, don't know. I mean, it's great that we know some of them, but it's just... I guess it just reminds you how fucking vast the perfume universe is.
Well, when you ask a load of fucking oiks to give you their fucking bullshit like lists, this is what you're going to get. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fucking... Fliss is upset that we just call the listeners oiks, but...
I'm playing around.
I'm sure they'll understand.
They listen, they know. They're part of the bants now. I'm taking the piss out of them. They feel like they're part of the fucking crew. They are.
We all have different perspectives, right? So you call them oiks and don't mean it. Fliss doesn't call them oiks and is sincere in that position. I call them oiks and I am sincere about it. So... Which I think only leaves one option, which is that Ben doesn't call them oiks but believes they are.
Yeah, so, that's about right.
Yeah. So there you go. If you draw a standard NBA 2x2 matrix of oik or not and believe or not.
We could do it on the screen now, couldn't we?
Screenshot of us recording. Here we go. That could be the thing for the next episode. The advert.
Yeah. The only problem is Ben and I in the wrong position. The matrix doesn't work.
Just switch it round.
Yeah, have to switch it around.
Yeah, that Photoshop can sort that out.
Good. Right.
And then the last thing that he had was Laura Bigotti Roma Uomo. 125ml for 16 quid.
I like that he said, I think it's a steal for this price. Anything is a steal for 16 quid. Like, there's not much in this world that you can buy for 16 quid.
Unless you steal it.
or it's an Herba Pura clone, in which case 16 quid is 16 quid wasted.
Bit too much, yeah.
You should be paying me to take it away.
And also maybe go and get yourself some correction somehow. Pay for that. Laura Bigotti, and that is a brand that really reminds me of being much younger. And like Venice, and there was a Rome bottle that was it? There was a female Rome, and there's a Leaning Tower of Pisa bottle that was on one side as well. I didn't even really realise that they were still producing stuff.
The Laura Bigotti. It's quite often like in the bargain bins at TK Maxx and stuff. It's a perfectly lovely perfume. That it's sort of candied lemon sort of vibes. I really like it. I don't wear it because it's piss weak, but there you go. So the funny thing about the name Jessica.
Here we go.
Jessica.
No, not origins. When my youngest was about 8 years old, she said to my wife, in all seriousness, she said, "Mummy, Daddy's having an affair with someone called Jessica." and she was like, "What?" And Kay goes, "Yes, fat Jessica. She's very fat, and she's called Jessica. And Daddy's having an affair with her."
Wow.
All right.
What happened?
Dad stopped having an affair.
I mean, in fairness, Lisa... no, I think Lisa was switched on enough to know that I wouldn't be having an affair with anyone, so that was fine. But yeah, fat Jessica is officially the person that I had a made-up affair with.
Do you still use it? Is it like a shibboleth?
Yes, a
in the house?
shibboleth. Wow. What a word. A shibboleth.
You two with
I
your
have a
fancy word play. What is a shibboleth?
Well, it's used in verbal evisceration techniques. So strap in. I'm about to verbally eviscerate you. No, a shibboleth, it's like a sort of totemic sort of idea or something, isn't it?
It's like a posh way of saying a meme. Now. It's kind of like something that you use within
like an
a group of people or a family, like an in-joke or an algorithm that is specific to you as a like a little group of people.
I kind of understood the context when you said it. I was like, oh right, okay. I sort of think I know what this means, but I've never heard that word. I mean, it's a very satisfying word, isn't it? Shibboleth.
A custom, principle, or belief distinguishing a particular class or group of people.
So an in-joke.
Yes. So, yeah, essentially an in-joke, yeah. I vaguely remember shibboleth being introduced in an episode of The West Wing and Martin Sheen explaining the word shibboleth. So I don't think I've ever heard it in any context other than that until Fliss just used it.
Well, I do
and they had to explain it in The West Wing as well.
Yes, of course. Yes, they explain everything. They explain everything in The West Wing. I mean, The West Wing is just like one long fucking exposition. It's just like really rapid fire exposition. Anyway,
I never watched it.
It's actually really enjoyable. It's. I mean, if you like extremely snappy dialogue, much like this podcast.
If you like that, you won't be listening to this.
Yes. I mean, if you find this podcast maybe a little bit too slick and polished, probably that's not the show for you. But no, it's extremely slick and polished and very good. And unsurprisingly, you're gonna want Martin Sheen to basically be the leader of the free world once you've watched it.
Oh, really?
He's such a good guy.
I think you can imagine the LesOdes crew, strutting down the halls of power in,
in Washington.
In Washington, yeah.
Using words like shibboleth.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was another one where he used an expression that I do know, which I used with a friend who was like, "What the fuck did you just say?" Which is post hoc ergo propter hoc, which is the Latin for after this, therefore because of this. It's a sort of logical fallacy, like we sacrifice a goat every night and the sun comes up the next morning, therefore it must be us sacrificing a goat that's causing the sun to come up.
That sort of sounds like you're spitting bars.
Exactly. That's what he said. He was like, mad ting, bruv. So anyway, I feel like we've kind of got off course again.
We're just having a nice chat.
What about low-key high flyer?
Low-key high flyer.
Helen.
Yes. Lovely.
4711 cologne.
Classic.
Okay.
You can't go wrong with that, can you?
Classic bargain, isn't it?
Classic
Dan's
bargain.
mate here, look. Filigree and Shadow, DD and E. What's a DD and E?
What?
I don't know.
Filigree and Shadow. Oh, this was a perfume that Helen suggested.
Yeah.
It's not my mate. What are you on about? It's your mate.
Joke. We've just been fucking giving him a hard time. I was giving him a hard time.
I just want to know if Filigree and Shadow is named after the Fever Tree song. Because if it is, right on. If it's not, don't care.
I can't imagine it'll be named after anything else, though. But it won't be named after anything else, though, will it?
I don't know.
Because who says Filigree and Shadow?
I don't know.
Anyway, I don't know that perfume.
No,
I don't know.
DD and E, is that what it's actually called? Or is that just an abbreviation? No, okay, anyway. Bedo Chouette, I'm not really a fan of that, but...
I like it.
I don't... I didn't realise there was more than one Bedo, so I'm obviously a dick.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Not the one that I know that Ben surreptitiously shoehorned into his collection in a
Maison Matine.
The chouette is very. It's
what is a chouette?
It's an owl.
Owl.
Yeah.
It's French for owl, and it's meant to be kind of like a play on night owl. And having been out dancing or whatever in like a Mediterranean country, so it's thick with
massive pupils.
It's
Your head spinning.
It's very, very floral and honeyed, and it's thick. I think it wears really nicely in hot weather because it blooms. But if you're not a big old heavy floral fan, then I don't remember what I wrote about it, but I just remember thinking that it's got quite a sticky honey feel to it. Which I...
Okay.
Yeah.
Maison Matine, you know this brand, don't you? Aren't they like...
I know some of them. Which one?
This one is Avant l'Orage.
Avant l'Orage. Is that the sort of like... that's like just a quite clean, powdery one, I think.
I don't know.
I don't
it's on
know.
a list by Helen, Loki High Flyer.
Yeah, okay. Now I have to look it up.
She's got stash on hers anyway.
There was so many people had stash on it. I think
Quite surprised, actually. It's on almost every list.
It's quite a cool perfume, though, isn't it? Like, it's cool for... I don't like it, but like a lot of people do.
I think for the price.
The go-to cheapie, right?
Oh, for the price,
like
yeah.
the go-to cheapie celeb frag that everyone knows.
I think it sort of sits somewhere between a cheap version of Pacha de Cartier. The dry down is really nutty in the same, the parfum version, and then something like Santal Blush. It has got that really Santal-y feel, but then it's a lot nuttier on the dry down. I mean, I think it's for the price. You just can't really go wrong.
You can't beat it for the price, yeah.
As long as you don't get it from Notino and it all comes through leaky, in which case don't.
I don't dislike it. And I get why it struck such a chord, but it's just funny that it's Sarah Jessica Parker. I mean, my mum has a few of those, like Lovely and stuff like that, and they're all quite like highly regarded by fragrance fans. So fair dues.
I really like Lovely. I think Lovely is a great.
Lovely.
It's lovely, and it's a really easy. It's a really easy musk to shove on a hot day, or if you going to work and you don't want to stand out. I just think it's. And I've never worn it and not had someone actually say to me, "Oh, you smell nice. You smell lovely." Just like, yeah, I do actually.
I think it's quite. It says a lot about the perception of celebrity fragrances that as soon as you mention it, you have to justify it. Do you know what? Like,
yeah.
It's like, Sarah Jessica Parker stash, yeah, but it is really good actually. Okay. But it is a surprise that a celebrity does put out a decent perfume, right?
Yeah.
Well, funnily enough, just a bit of an insight into the thing. We might talk about celebrity fragrances when we've brushed up on them a bit in future, mightn't we? Might we still?
Yeah, I mean, we should. We should. Yeah, I think I don't want to sort of go off on a tangent about celebrity fragrances, but I'm not surprised Stash is on quite a lot. I mean, it's a good, interesting perfume for a very reasonable price. I'm just looking at this. We've got fucking zillions left to go.
Yeah. Sorry, just the last one on this list is called Prune Confit.
Yeah, Bon Parfumer, right? 401 Prune Confit. A perfume with prune in the title, James. Were you going to say that? Because that doesn't sound appealing, does it?
Doesn't, does it? No.
No, it's like the first thing you think of prune perfume.
Yeah.
Laxative.
Keep your regular, mate.
Up, yeah. Farting in a fucking old
there's one.
Bon Parfume would do some good stuff, though.
I don't know them.
Some all right stuff, yeah.
They're very sort of. I describe them as sort of functional kind of perfumes. They're not flashy or anything. They're very reasonably priced. They're quite, the styling is very stripped back, very utilitarian, and they are sort of utility perfumes that I think they are for people who want to smell of stuff. They are not for. I don't think they are sort of great works of kind of artisan exquisiteness or anything, but they're perfectly nice. Quite a lot of them.
They're quite
just
broad, like selection though, and actually like I sound like an advert, don't I? But actually relatively reasonable prices as well.
No, they are. They're very, very reasonably priced. It's like you can get the 100ml bottles for like 70, 80 quid or something. It's solid. But
can I just make the
James,
point? Sorry, that just to distinguish, this is Bon Parfumer 401, and there is another brand, or there might even be multiple brands called Bon Parfumer who are affordable.
So this isn't 401 prune confit, because Bon Parfumer, they number theirs.
The
like
brand
is 401. Yeah.
Well,
Let's have a look.
no. There's a couple of brands, because I've got some of the, and they're all natural perfumes, I think, and the Bon Parfumer, and they were dead cheap. I think I got them from TK Maxx. And they were like little bottles. And although, yes, okay, there's one called like Labdanum and Patchouli or something. This Bon Parfumer 401 are like colour. They're like colour coded.
Yeah.
They'll be the ones that you've probably seen. The ones that I've got are probably the less known one. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the one I'm thinking of. So
I don't doubt it's the brand you're thinking of, but I'm just making it clear. In case anyone gets confused, that there is another brand called that, and that are even cheaper, I think, than those. And same strip back sort of like style and stuff. So just so there's no confusion if you're looking for that.
So interestingly, so they all tend to revolve around 3 sort of notes. And I'm just looking at the 401 is cedar, candied plum, and vanilla. And although it says prune confit on it, Fragrantica is calling it candied plum.
Well, prune confit is French for candied plum.
Is it?
Yeah. And prune is a plum in French.
Oh, yeah, prune. Well, I suppose prunes are dried out plums, aren't they?
Yeah. But they would call them a prune even if they weren't dry.
Okay. Tune in to next week's episode for more fucking failure to understand basic French. Tragic, isn't it?
But you did know what shibboleth was, though. So, win some, lose some, it all evens up. So
I guess. But candied plum sounds a lot better than fucking prunes.
As the French might
say. Comme ça. Candied plum just sounds much more pleasant than prunes.
They should have called it plum confit, and although that wouldn't have been like linguistically correct, it certainly would have been more audibly pleasing.
Yes,
but that's because we all associate prunes with keeping us regular.
Yeah, that's true.
And that prune juice that your mum used to make you drink or whatever when you were sick.
Fig rolls.
Yeah, fig roll. Oh,
I love a fig roll. Oh.
So I used to live with this guy called Ryan Rash. I used to live with this guy. And he used to, when we were students, obviously on student budgets, you come back with your ramen and all the rest of it. And every week he bought a packet of fig rolls. And he used to say every week, keeps me regular. It was like, that was his health food. It was a packet of fig rolls.
Wow.
Those were the days,
eh? Fig rolls were referred to as... sausage roll biscuits in our household. Anyway, right, who else have we got on this list? Have we done Alan, Sentimental Health?
Yes.
Oh, have we? No.
Did we?
I don't remember doing that.
Have we not?
I don't think so. Ferragamo Uomo Signature. I don't remember discussing that.
Oh, no, in that case I'm wrong. Let's do Alan.
You leapt right over him, the poor sod. Right. Trampled under Fliss's feet.
Alan, I don't mind if I'm not your favourite anymore.
You weren't never his favourite.
You weren't ever his favourite.
You were never his favourite. Right, Ferragamo Uomo Signature. Pleasant if unremarkable, I would say. He then has Jean-Paul Gaultier's Scandal Le Parfum.
What?
I'm gonna have to say no, Alan. It's a no from me on that one.
Legs.
Yeah.
Christ on a bike, that is a fucking awful perfume.
I'm with James on that. That was not enjoyable. But But there you go. I mean, I can see we're sort of maybe going for like a few different things here. Valentino Uomo, born in Roma, intense.
I actually like that. I was
going to say, Ben, you're the expert on the Valentino Uomo range.
Oh, am I? But yeah, no, I did sample that and I liked it. I thought it was nice. And a couple of friends were here when I sampled it and they both said it was nice as well. So they were muggles, so we can't really trust them. But this is a list of muggles, I assume. So, I liked it.
It's a muggle fest this week. Fucking hell.
Bulgari Terrai Essence.
I don't know that one, but I like Bulgari generally, so I'm going to go and say, yeah.
That one, to me, had a bit of a whiff of... blah, blah, blah. Oh God, what's that Afghano one? Black Afghano. So it sort of took the Bulgari sort of quite a woody Bulgari and then added. I felt like it had a sort of cannabis note. I may be sort of wildly off beam. Other people may not detect that, but it smelt like a sort of almost like a tidied up high street edition or flanker of Afghano.
Is it a flanker? Because it's in the same bottle as those Bulgari Man Wood, which is a fucking abysmal name, an abysmal fragrance. I mean, surely you should have had some punctuation in that name. Bulgari Man, comma, Wood. Not Bulgari Man Wood.
Man Wood. Man, yeah. Fliss. Fliss likes the thought of manwood.
I can't believe someone's called that. Put that on a perfume bottle.
Have you never sampled manwood? Oh my
I mean, at least with the Nasamato bottle. At least with the Nasamato bottle, they're not even pretending. You know, it's just there. The big dick is just on the top of the bottle. Just calling a perfume, just like...
Little dick. It is...
But just calling a perfume manwood. No, darlings. No.
Okay.
Why would somebody do that? Did no one stop them? That went through a marketing team and they all went, oh, yeah, that sounds great. Jesus fucking Christ. People should need to lose their jobs when shit like that happens.
Or get promoted and the whole world would be chaos.
Yeah, or get promoted.
There's one
Manwood, woman meat.
Like,
it's just like Lady Ham. Where do you stop?
Ham sandwich.
Lady Ham.
Where do you stop?
My fucking God.
Lady Ham.
I'll tell you where you stop.
You stop about 20 seconds before I did, right?
Butcher's
Your
bin,
stinky
that's my
tuberose
favourite.
signature. Lady Ham. Fliss.
Wrong. Just everybody has to stop.
No. You have to stop. You have to stop.
Okay.
I feel
I've stopped.
vaguely unwell.
I've got to dry my face because I'm laughing so hard.
See how pleased she is with herself. That was brilliant.
Right, hilarious.
Right, who else have we got? We got fucking zgwillions of these, and I'm knackered.
We don't have to do them all. We're just talking.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I fucking do.
We should probably get into that PDF a little bit, shouldn't we?
They've put in mad work, cuz.
Well, no, I mean they put the work in for themselves. They have both got their own really well respected perfume instas, and I think that they were just really enjoying working together and doing it. So, you know, it's. I think even if we don't have a look at it, they've had plenty of interaction. And that's the thing I really noticed was actually how much interaction the challenge created, not just between people who listen and us, but also anybody doing a list seemed to have a huge amount of interactions because everyone's got a fucking opinion, haven't they, basically? And there's nothing like people setting something out and then other people going, well, actually, I think you'll find. I think there was an awful lot of that in a fun way happening, which I thought was really nice.
Oh my goodness. T's collection from the 1990s got Charlie Red.
Yes.
Nice.
Classic.
Nice.
£3.92.
You can't go wrong, can you?
£3.92. That's
I mean,
that's quite,
like, have they just got these for the sake of it, though? Do you know what I mean? Like, some of them are a bit like...
I mean, for £3.92, I didn't know you could get it for that. I'd do that just to see if I could like get that weird smell back from my second.
I remember Charlie
worth
Red.
a punt, is it? Do you know what I mean?
No, but what it does do though is these decades collections are encapsulating a decade of fragrance.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily saying, as a muggle, this is what you should go and buy and smell.
No.
It's about saying, these are still available things that were really, what's the word? Important's the wrong word, but they really, they were thematic. Things like Charlie, I mean,
Like, what is Revlon Chiara like?
Now, that has actually been on lots of other lists, I noticed. And I don't know what it is like at all, but a number of people have put it up as a response to other people's lists, to the point at which I've got it on watch on eBay.
You're interested.
Because I'm curious that it came up so much, to be honest.
It's piqued Fliss's interest, I think.
I did the cabochard, which I bought. I bought because I was totally influenced by everyone just wombling on about it. And I thought, oh, fine, everyone fucking stop shouting, fuck off. I'll buy it. And I was so bowled over by how good it was in terms for 17 quid. I was like, oh, yeah. And I just wonder if there's other things in here that are worth a punt for not much money.
I mean, for example, the Z14 from Halston, which is an iconic perfume.
Is that the polo-ish one?
No, it's a bit like you bought it recently, Italian Cypress.
Oh, Italian Cypress. Yeah. So a bit polo-ish.
Yeah, and I mean, this is one that I will agree that I wouldn't say they've been completely destroyed, because it still captures some of that essence, and I think some people get a bit fucking dewy-eyed about some of these old perfumes, just from memory or whatever. But I actually don't think that the Z14 modern bottles are very good. I have one.
I
it's
had
pretty
one. Rubbish. Yeah, I had one, and it was just so heavy on the sort of cinnamony sort of thing. It was almost like it felt like. Have you ever seen those stupid YouTube videos of idiots trying to eat a spoonful of cinnamon?
Yes.
It was basically like that in perfume format. It was just too much, way too much. I can't believe how much work has gone into this. It's insane, in a good way. Insane.
T's collection, 2004 Au Noir.
Yes.
Ooh, how are they getting that under that sort of price benchmark?
Everything else is a bargain, basically.
Yeah, right.
I mean, let's talk about the actual list itself. Is fucking brilliant, because it's got, Aromatics Elixir, it's got Jean Patou 1000, not really my sort of bag, but it's an iconic, great perfume. The Jovan Musk, as we've already mentioned, which is fucking $1.99. That's insane. I know it's only 12ml, but fucking hell, £2 for perfume. Revlon Charlie Blue, whatever. Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. Okay, good. 100ml for $30.90. Fucking hell, that is good.
I think if I ever, and obviously I hope to never be in this situation, but if I ever had to, beg for money on the street and stuff, I reckon as soon as I had £2, I would be straight onto Direct Cosmetics for some Jovan Musk. It's like, yeah, okay, I need to smell good before I can eat. So priorities.
I think it's got
all about
opium
priorities.
on there, and it's got
and
stuff. It's bloody.
You probably get pretty fucked up if you drank it as well.
Nice. I see on Ty's list, I see Dali, Salvador Dali, Obsession for Men. Yeah, nice.
Oh, and this is the 80s you're doing.
Oh, 80s.
I'm looking at the 80s, yeah. Oh, sorry, yeah. Zeno, Davidoff Zeno. Good fucking call, man.
Samsara.
Yeah.
Samsara.
So Danielle,
70s,
sorry, just to go back to the 70s, Danielle had a
Samsara's still really expensive.
It really is.
So
It's really hard to find it at a good price.
Sorry.
Or I said, like, a cheap price.
James.
No, I'm sorry for talking over you. Sorry, I'm still dicking around on the 70s, but I'm just noting that how much Danielle's, because I was only looking at Ty's list. Is it Ty?
Yeah,
I was only looking at like that list and not looking at hers, but there's a lot of repetition between those. Sorry, I'm well behind. Let's go.
Ooh, Ralph Lauren Polo Original, $13.95, 15 ml. Lots of small things being bought here.
Yeah.
It's small. I think next time we do this, I'm going to impose a size limit on it. It's just like, oh yes, I bought this fucking 2 ml fucking minute sample for 60 quid. Therefore, no, it's got to be at least fucking 50 ml, I reckon. Or maybe 30.
30, because there's lots
come
of...
in with a 10 mil roll-on.
Yeah, you
did.
come in with a 10 mil rolling. So you basically, you open the doors for a lot of fucking around, Ben. With the dupe and the 10 mil roll-on. Just doing a mum face at you.
So I like Zeno Davidoff. I obviously like Obsession. Probably not as good as the women's one, but it is good for men. Salvador Dali, I mean, that's a fucking insane perfume.
I keep trying to smell it, and every time I buy one, it's turned, and I can't.
It just smells like that. No, it probably.
Well, but this is kind of how I'm getting to the point of I'm done trying to find it, because I've had 2, if not 3, bottles of the vintage, and it's just I know this is turned. It's turned.
That's a shame. Yeah, it must be a thing with those, because I think that's.
I see. Danielle's got a Bijan, which I assume that would be. I didn't know. Is there a femme version of Bijan? I've got Bijan for men.
There is a femme version. Right. If it doesn't say the man one on it, then I would assume that it's the femme. But the femme's really good as well.
Is it?
Yeah, arguably. Arguably better.
Wow. I need to check that out then, don't I?
Yeah.
It's shocking the amount. Looking at, you think not that you know stuff, but you're fairly kind of confident in your abilities to an extent, and then you look at lists like this that people have put together and just think, fuck all. That's how I feel. I feel like you just get off the mic, Fliss. Stop chatting.
It is fucking mad. But then, possession is 9/10 of the law, and we're in possession of the microphone. So that's how that shit works.
Like, I've never tried Diva, Ungaro Diva. I don't think I know it.
No,
I know of it. Do you know what I mean? It's quite a.
It's a big favourite amongst the vintage fans. I mean, I had a sample and it wasn't quite for me. Big aldehydic floral, like it does exactly what it says on the bottle. It's a Diva. But yeah.
Is it one of those where the bottle looks kind of like a jelly mould or something?
Yes, it is.
It's got that kind of
thing. Yeah. Totally.
Which is a little bit off-putting, but
I think all perfumes should look like jelly malts. Good, right? So, I mean, I've enjoyed this. It's sort of annoying how few of them I know. Looking at the hundreds,
you didn't even get to the 90s either.
No, well, I'll tell you what. Maybe we'll pick up the 90s next time. We need to do another decade episode as well, because
we need to do one for ourselves, so we can just use it as a.
Well, we did the 90s, didn't we? So we need to choose a different decade. But I mean, obviously, thank you to everyone that fucking got involved in this. It's been surprisingly widely adopted, as you can tell. And, if you want to keep them coming, we'd be more than happy to read them. It's been a lot of fun. But it just does remind me, it's one of those things in fragrance review world, right? People fucking act as though they've tried all the perfumes in the world and they know everything about everything, and they sort of try and present themselves as these kind of omniscient sort of geniuses. Yeah, careful. Yeah.
Careful,
The arbiter.
careful.
Yeah. I'm not actually specifically calling you out here, James, but I mean, if the cap fits. But it just reminds me, in all seriousness, it just reminds me how little we really know. I mean, obviously we're sort of, I guess we're better informed than a lot of people in the sense that we've tried thousands and thousands of perfumes, but the world of perfume is so fucking vast and extensive, it would be impossible to know everything. So lots on these lists, though, that I now want to go and fucking try. And if I keep convincing myself it's only 200 quid, I could probably buy like several of these lists over the course of a few months, you know. Oh, it's just £200. Throw it away. So anyway, it's been a good laugh. And Fliss, thank you for putting this all together. I know it was a bunch of work for you also.
No, it wasn't really. It was...
yes, it was
a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Spreadsheets aren't work, are they?
No.
They're fucking
It's
party
a pleasure. Yeah.
It's like lady meat. Yeah.
No.
It's like ham.
Fliss. No.
See you next week.
Fliss, I was going to ask if you have any final thoughts.
No, you don't. I need just no. I was going to say was if anybody else wants to join in, then it's hashtag LesOdes200 on Insta. You can join our Facebook group if you look for Les Oderants podcast. You have to answer some questions to join. But we let everyone in. And obviously we have our Insta page as well. So, and the Patreon as well. You can request to join that as well. And we'd love to.
Absolutely. Please do so. Ben, final thoughts?
Well, it's only really reflecting on what you mentioned, like, you know, how little we know. But I was already sort of aware of that because I sort of feel like I've definitely walked myself down a sort of perfume cul-de-sac anyway. You know, I've sort of, I've done the experimenting like years back, and but now I sort of tend to stick to sort of one sort of or a couple of sort of types of perfume, if you know what I mean. So I don't have a very broad knowledge these days, I don't think. So I kind of really was prepared to feel inadequate when I looked at it. So yeah, thanks for just reaffirming that.
Excellent.
But you take your time with things, don't you? You have to like wear them for like weeks on end and stuff, and it's not always that easy. Like say with like some vintage shit, because like I've tried a lot of stuff because people have sent me samples, or like I've exchanged things with people, or I've just known people who've been into perfume over the years, and a lot of them I've got to thank for like trying stuff because I would never have tried it otherwise. But I think you kind of consider things over time. Like you wouldn't just like you wear stuff for like days on end, don't you, at a time, and get a real like you know feel for it and stuff. So it's hard to do that. I mean, look at me. I wear like different shit every day. Okay, yeah, I dip back into my collection and stuff, but I try relatively newish things. And there's only so much time, you know. There's a finite amount of time you've got, and whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Time is finite, as indeed is my energy. James, any final thoughts from you?
No, not really. That's it.
Not really. Okay. Well, look, it has been cool. It's been cool. I've enjoyed it. We hope you've enjoyed it too. Although, to be honest, if you haven't, please speak to our lawyers. In the meantime, we will be back in 2 weeks with a brand new episode of Les Oderants. Until then, bye.
Bye.
What's up?